that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We up in this thing representing the great Saint Tank. Big ups to the fam. Like I've been saying for some time now, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's happening, fam? Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Happy hump day to you. Hope you guys are having a pretty fantastic week. Big ups to the fam. Much love and big ups to you. So, fam, listen, we're here. It's Saints Camp day number 1. The black and gold in there trying to fire it up for another year. I know a lot of family members are kind of somber in their place about what the hell the Saints are going to do. But let me tell you something, baby. Listen, hey, it's football, man, and I take it. I take it, man. I take it. So anyway, a lot of pressure on this administration to step up and do what they supposed to do, man. Listen, they got to show up or be shut down. That's what kind of year this is. Anyway, it's good to see the year off to a pretty positive start, man. A few things to go over with in this episode of the Coma. Of course, Alvin Kamara's contract situation looms over everything. Will the Saints get that done? Shout out to the Patreon members and the YouTube family members. I was on the stream about an hour and some change yesterday, hour and a half, perhaps a little bit over an hour and a half yesterday. Just talking, man, about, going and reacting over yesterday's press conferences, Dennis Allen and Slick Mickey. Now, hold on now. I'm telling you. You got to talk to Mickey. Mickey got all of the keys to what's going on with the Alvin Kamara situation. And let me tell you something. What I heard from Mickey yesterday, I was like, man, listen here, man. I don't know. The energy, it wasn't the fact that the energy was off, but it was like the energy that I got from listening to what Mickey was saying yesterday during that press conference about Alvin Kamara, the great questions. Once again, where would we be without Mike Triplett? Where would we be? Mike Triplett, if there is 30 questions that the Saints allow you to ask Dennis Allen or Mickey Loomis or anybody, I'm going to say if they allow 30 questions, at least 20 of them are coming from Mike Triplett. I'm just keep Mike Triplett, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Nick Underhill, shout out to you, man, as well. Because if it wasn't for these guys, man, no disrespect to my other writers, man, but listen, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know like I know, Mike Triplett be getting it in. Mike Triplett asks 2 questions, and then one dude get in there, and Cat asks a question, and then 2 or 3 of them, the next one is Mike Triplett. He got a gift for that, man. If it wasn't for him asking these questions, a lot of the stuff, and he asks really good questions. He presses you, but don't really presses you. It's a real slick measurement to what Mike Triplett does, man. But shout out to him, man. Love all the information, so many things, man. But anyway, man, listen, big ups to you guys. Shout out to you guys for being in the stream, man. We're going to react to a lot of the interviews today. Big ups to everybody. I see you, OG Jerry. Big ups to your Solar Flares, Pelicans, Nola, Black Major. What's up, K? Shout out to K as well. Young City 9 in this thing. Mills 132. Big ups to you. Brother Rowe is in this thing. Brian's Flat Power God. Who that to you guys? Brother Tragic is in this thing. It's Saints time, man. Tragic in the building. It's Saints time. You see Tragic in here, it's Saints time. YO, shout out to you. See Bam, I see you, fam. 504 Code JT, big ups to you as well. Big Boo Hoffa is in this thing. Yeah, it's Saints time, man. All the family members are here. It's Saints time. When you start seeing the regs, the day ones, it's Saints time, man. You heard me? Tuck, shout out to you. Tuck, I see you. That's another one. T-Rob, shout out to you. T-Roy, big ups to you. Brother Byron brings the fire, man. Shout out to you. What's up, Debbie? Shout out to you. Good to see the queens in here. Brother Michael's in this thing as well. Big ups to you. All right. Now, listen, fam, I do have, before we get into some of these items, I do have in the chat a poll that raised the question, do you think the Saints will give running back Alvin Kamara his extension? Very simple question. All the family members chiming in, do one or two things. Hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, smash that on there and answer that poll question. It's either yes or no. And, right now, 78% of the diehard says yes, they will give him his extension. Now, listen, like majority of y'all heard the Mickey Loomis press conference yesterday, talking, and he didn't, at first, they pressed him a little bit about it, and he's like, I really don't want to talk about that, and it's not done, that's not how I do, that's not how I roll, and then they just kind of moved on to something else and kind of came back to it, and Mickey was talking about how he sees, how the Saints see certain players, and, I just, some guys think they're up here, they're up here, and their value's up here, and sometimes we might see them right here, or what they're doing right now, and then, and we project them over here, so he had them up here and then here. And like I was saying, I told the family members, man, y'all want to listen to the stream on Patreon, y'all can hit that as a link. But I was looking, I was like, yeah, the way it's looking, man, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be one of the people saying, yes, Q, they're going to give him. I want him to get the extension, at least a 2-year deal. And let's just know Alvin Kamara wasn't overused down here. He wasn't beat the hell up. Like, Christian McCaffrey, they just ran over, just in Carolina, they just ran Christian McCaffrey in the mud. They just ran him in the mud. And then he kept breaking down. He came back. He broke down. He came back. And ultimately, they traded him. And then he had the best year of his career last year, which ended up helping the 49ers get to the Super Bowl. You could not deny his contribution. You couldn't do it. You can't deny his contribution. You can't deny Christian McCaffrey's contribution. He led the NFL in rushing. And like I was telling the family member, I was like, fam, should Alvin get McCaffrey type numbers? I mean, contract, paper. And his talent is very similar, but Alvin Kamara, if you think about it, he never eclipsed 1,000 yards ever in a season. Christian McCaffrey did it a couple of times. And last year led the league in rushing. He was second or third on the team in receiving. He had 13, 14 rushing touchdowns and 7 or 8 receiving touchdowns. And I think he was either second or third in receptions on the team. So not only he was producing in multiple rooms in multiple ways, and if it wasn't for his contribution, Brock Purdy was big, but if it wasn't for Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers would have not made it to the Super Bowl. Let's just keep it a buck. Now, with that being said, is Alvin Kamara on that level? Now, talent-wise, he is, but you'll be hard-pressed to find the Saints saying we're going to give Christian McCaffrey that kind of money. The moon, the stars, everything lined up perfectly for Christian McCaffrey. Had a great year, and the 49ers like, hey, man, let's just break him off. It was undeniable. Now, that's not to say that Alvin won't have that type of year for the Saints this year. He came close. It was the C-19 year. I think it was in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, where he produced 986 yards, and he was going to get 1,000 yards, but he did something stupid that year That's when he went to the club and ended up catching C-19, and they end up suspending him for that game, the Carolina game. He would have got that 1,000 yards rushing that year had he not did that. And then they suspended him for that game and then had him ready for the playoff game the week after that. But like I said, man, I think Christian McCaffrey is a phenomenal talent. It's just, do the Saints see him on that level from a monetary standpoint? And then, like I said, even though he's getting toward to that age when a lot of people start saying these running backs are not what they're supposed to be, Alvin Kamara was not severely overused in New Orleans. He really wasn't. If anything, he was underused. He really was. So we'll see how it all shakes and goes, man. But ultimately, if the Saints want, and this is the thing, it's a crazy year because you're at that point where Mickey Loomis cannot deny, that the cap situation that he created it. It wasn't the C-19. I know he said, a lot of that was from the C-19 year, and we were kind of working our way around that, and we were trying to work around it, and we finally bouncing back. No, Mickey, no, it wasn't all C-19. It was bad contract, bad management, wasn't developing the picks, and when you talk about drafting the guys, and then if all the guys blow up and they do what they're supposed to do, a hard time signing the guys back, which is true. But you knew that going in there. Everybody knows that. That's why it's important that when you draft players, you try to find a player that fits your scheme as close as you can, or if because they do all the intellectual tests, they do all that stuff to see if you can shorten the curve for this player to impact your team as fast as it can. Because if you got a first rounder, you have 5 years. You got anybody else is 4 years. That's more than enough time to try to get value out of this player. That's why when you look at some of these players, you're like, man, they're just wasting away some of their like they underutilize their talents. They picked this guy like Zach Bowen. Zach Bowen was a guy that just was a wasted third-round pick. And I think they moved up to go and get Zach Bowen. It was totally wasted pick. Could have went somewhere else. That's what I'm saying. You have to be dialed in, know what you need, know exactly what you need, and sometimes you find a player that fits your scheme, and find one that's intelligent so the learning curve is as short as it possibly can be so the player can have the most immediate impact that he possibly can. That way you get as much of the value you can out of that pick. Very simple. Not hard, not complicated, not hard to perceive. Very, very simple, right? So, but outside of what he was saying about that, I wasn't really, at odds with Mickey. Actually, Mickey had a pretty decent press conference. Dennis Allen did all right. Just, but the comments about, the contract and all that. And I'm looking at it, I'm saying, I don't think the Saints are in a rush. It don't feel like they're in a rush to go and get Alvin Kamara's money. Almost feel like the Saints are, based on the cap situation and the movements, like they're like, we're going to wait and see. Well, let me use Mickey's verb. We're going to wait and see. Hold on now. You're putting words in my mouth. We're going to wait and see how that, and that's the type of approach that I think that they're utilizing. Because Kamara he don't want no small time money. He wants decent money. Saints like, well, hold on now. I don't know about that big guy. So, at some point, we just gonna have to wait and see how this thing. But just looking at what I heard from Mickey, I don't think they're rushing to get this extension done. I think they're in like a wait and see mode to see what Alvin Kamara could do. And the truth of the matter is Alvin Kamara is in a win-win situation regardless of how you look at it, because either he gets his money from the Saints, if he balls out this year, and listen, it gives us the best Alvin Kamara that we could possibly want, right? It gives us a dialed-in Alvin Kamara with a chip on his shoulder, right? A guy that's facing getting a new contract, so he's gonna be extra amped and more focused than ever to make sure that he secures the future deal, whether it's from the Saints or whether it's from somebody else. It doesn't matter. He's going to get his paper. And the Saints are like, oh, well, hold on now, let me see what it is. And we'll see. And we're going to see, man, because if things don't work the way they're supposed to work and we thinking the Saints don't make it to the playoffs, and I'm not saying that they don't, but just in circumstances if they don't, then you know what that means. That means all this is getting tore up. What does all that means? You mean you got a new coach coming in, your offensive people going to get fired, a lot of you going to have a lot of turnover. And basically it's going to be reset. You're going to have this guy. And like I said, it's going to look a little different, if it doesn't work. And plus you got to remember the 2-year window on the cap restrictions the Saints have. They can't, these 1-year deals that they sign with players, 1 year here. Cedric Wilson got like a cheap 2-year deal, 1 year, 2 year, nothing really big because they kind of pacing themselves through the next 2 years because of bad and poor cap management over the many years conducted by Slick Mickey Loomis. Don't get it twisted. Only one person twisting and turning the books for the Saints, and that was Slick Mickey Loomis. He's the reason why your cap is all capped to hell. I didn't do it. Hell, I wouldn't kick the can like that. That's what the politicians do. The politician kick the can. All right. So anyway, shout out to the fam. JT says, Q, what do you think about Peyton Turner? I think what I've seen from him so far, he should have been drafted in the 5th round. Yes, the jury's out on Penning. Yeah, it's still very much on Penning. Peyton Turner, man, is in a precarious situation because if you look at it, the Saints signed Chase Young, and I said this before about Peyton Turner. The Saints, and they're not going to say this, but if you got a guy that's a 1st-round draft pick, right? High value 1st-round draft picks are in today's game. You wouldn't go out and select a player that was like a top 5. What was Chase Young when he got drafted, like 4th or 5th? He was a top 5 pick, I want to say, if not first. Number 1 or number 2, I forgot what he was overall. Y'all remind me in the chat. But you don't go after Chase Young, an injured Chase Young, by the way, and say, listen, we're going to bring you in. We're going to scope this contract a certain kind of way. And, hey, you got neck surgery. That's real risque, right? And then put him in front of the team with a 1-year prove-it deal. And you got a 1st-round draft pick sitting behind him, and then you got Cam there. What does that say? How is Peyton Turner supposed to? And then they turned down his 5th year, which would have paid him $13 million, which is the smart thing to do. So what is Peyton Turner supposed to do? How is he supposed to shine? If you have, Chase Young once he's healthy and Cam Jordan ahead of him, how is he supposed to shine? How is he supposed to shine? That they pretty much putting the cap on him, in my opinion. How is he supposed to shine? Now, Isaiah Foskey, obviously, he has more time. But it's time up for Peyton Turner. It's up for Peyton Turner. How is Peyton Turner supposed to shine with Chase Young and Cam Jordan sitting over the top of him? How is he supposed to shine? How is he supposed to shine? Very curious pick by Sean Payton. But he was picking in the mold of Marcus Davenport. And by the way, Marcus Davenport was put on the puppy list. What was that, yesterday for Detroit? So Davenport's up to his old tricks again. All right. So anyway, big ups to the fam. Brother Wallace said, I'm so happy, Big Q Kamara. Yeah, hopefully he gets his money, man. I want to see him get paid. But the Saints are not looking at it, man. Remember, he said people asked him, he had the question. They was talking to him about the situation that occurred with him talking to, Christian McCaffrey. And they asked him, they said, hey, man, you talked to Chris. We heard you had a discussion with Christian McCaffrey. And Alvin Kamara, and they was asking him, oh, you must have been asking him about the scheme. You must have asked him about the scheme. And he said, I ain't asking about the scheme. What you talking? I already knew what it was about. When he said, oh, you trying to get familiar with the scheme, because he was in the same scheme you was. You trying to get, pick his brain on that? He's like, no, I ain't talking to him. I was like, yeah. And matter of fact, when we had that show and he said that, I was like, man, that's a money thing. And it just had that feeling. I was like, yeah, that's a money thing. You talking to him, you talking to Christian McCaffrey for one, just to say hello. How you doing, man? How you doing? I thought, picking his mind on the scheme. I thought, scheme, but nah, that's money. Of course, he's not going to get Christian McCaffrey bread, man, because the league and the Saints in the league don't see him as even though he has that type of potential, he has to show it. You know, it would be cool if Alvin Kamara led the NFL in rushing. It would be cool if he did that. He never did that. He never eclipsed 1,000 yards in the season. He's been a fantastic player for us, but from a league perspective, never led the NFL in rushing. That would be cool for Kamara to have that on his resume, to be honest with you. And maybe perhaps the system that helped Christian McCaffrey get what he got last year can get Kamara to get what he got. He needs to get this year to get the bread. Perhaps it does. We'll see, man, how it all works. We'll see. So big ups to everybody, man. Thank y'all for being here. All right. Yeah. Oh, DJ, you say a second round pick. You're talking about Chase Young. No, I was mentioning Chase Young. I think I was saying the Chase Young. Oh, the Peyton Turner thing. Peyton Turner was a first round pick. I think he was a first round pick. A lot of people thought, Chase Young was a first round pick, a top 10 pick, if I'm not mistaken. Peyton Turner was a first round pick, and a lot of people believed he was too raw. Should have been a second round pick, but that was Sean Payton. You know, picked him, and I was like, and I didn't see first round draft, but it was toward the back of the first round. So a lot of people thought he would be available in the second round, but that was a Sean Payton pick, you know. So we'll see exactly how it's going on, man. Big ups to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all hit the like button. Yeah, student says he's a bust. Hey, man, listen. I would say, listen, bro, we got to see. But, bro, listen, the only way Peyton Turner could shine for the Saints to really get respect and perhaps get another deal, which the possibility is very low, because he in the last year of that first round draft pick contract, the Saints have already did this to his fifth year, which was supposed to pay him north of $13 million. That's already out the door. And how is he supposed to shine with both Chase Young and Cam Jordan over the top of him? It ain't gonna happen. Both of those guys would have to be injured, which we don't know exactly what's going on with Chase Young, even though they seem very positive about him. And Cam Jordan looking like he's doing very good coming up off that ankle. So both of those guys will have to have step backs to allow Peyton Turner, who has to also remain healthy, to show them that he hitting on something. And then even if he does, it might be a situation where he could have 15 sacks or maybe 18 sacks. The Saints are not going to sign him back. It'll be something similar to, what's the kid, man, we had here? Damn it. His name skipped out of my mind the other day when I was talking about a similar topic. What was the kid that ended up going to Cincinnati, man? What's the guy name? I can't think about his name, man. Y'all remind me. He came out of Florida. Was it Florida Atlantic? What's the defensive end ended up going to Cincinnati? Y'all put it in the chat. Help me out here. I'm having a brain fart for whatever reason, man. But it's the same. There you go. Thank you, Quavadius. Trey Hendrickson. He can do a Trey Hendrickson thing. You think the Saints gonna say, "Oh my goodness, we got Trey Hendrickson here," and didn't re-sign him? Hell nah. He's hasta la vista to you, Peyton Turner. Peyton Turner can have 20 sacks this year. It won't bomb anything. You know, I don't think the Saints are gonna break him off and give him. You know what I'm saying? I just think, Peyton Turner is more than likely this is his last year with the Saints, unless he takes a super cheap deal to remain with the Saints. And remember, the Saints still have cap issues this year, next year, and I think in the following year, things supposed to be opening up. That's right, OG. Yeah, Trey Hendrickson. You know, so that's my thinking on it. But anyway, man, let's touch on some of these camp insights. Shout out to the Saints News Network, Kyle T. Mosley, brother John Hendricks. Shout out to you guys, man. Y'all know I always throw a lot of support to those guys because they put in the work. Much love. All right. Big ups to y'all too, man. Let me give a few shout outs. Brother Rodney, how you doing, sir? Big ups to you, student. Big ups to you, brother Quavadius. If Foskey had a strong camp, he should push a few players down the chart or out the door at DL. Tuck says we've had some issues drafting both offensive and defensive linemen. Hopefully the coaching will get better. Yeah, that's a big point right there, the coaching. All right. What's up, Dirty D? 2099. Big ups to you, fam. Brother YO's in this thing. Nate 2 times. Professor in this thing. Professor PT504, big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you being here as well. Much love to all y'all, man. King Chosen, when I see you, fam, big ups to you as well. Thank you for being here. Much love to y'all guys. Thank y'all. All right. So anyway, I thought I'd see my dog Randolph too, man. Big ups to my boy Randolph. What's up, Randolph? How you doing, sir? He said, I think Kendre Miller is on the bubble from how they spoke today. It seemed as if he's already fed up with it. Jordan Mims' chances have increased more after day one. Yeah, and it's, you know what? And Dennis Allen is good. You know, the reason why he feel, you know, Dennis Allen is under some pressure. Dennis Allen is under some pressure. He knows he needs that running back room to compete because the offense has to move. The offensive line has got to do what it's supposed to do. And the running game, it has to do what it has to do to take pressure off of Derek Carr, who has to stay on time. And that's a lot going on. You know what I mean, family? That's a lot going on there. So, yeah, thank you, Randolph, for that game. But, see, that's a part of it. Kendre Miller was banged up. And, listen, this is Kendre Miller's second year. You get me? He was banged up the most of the year. Last year, early on, he was banged up, missed a lot of time, became healthy toward the back end of the year. And now he's having a few little issues now. So I don't know what's the upsetness. You getting mad at the dude for unless he had did something. He was on a motorcycle or did something precarious. But if it's an injury, it's an injury. If that's the case, shit, get mad at Peyton Turner. Treat him with the same energy. Keep the same consistent energy, not for Kendre Miller, but keep it for all of them. If that's the case, unless he did something, he was on the skateboard or some shit, or, you know, he was doing something that he wasn't supposed to do. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, it's just the same. But in the run, like I said, and people was talking about the Alvin Kamara situation, the Kendre Miller is not ready. And I said that. I need to see more of Kendre Miller stay healthy for an entire season so he can be relied upon. That's why it's the purpose of having a deep running back room. Somebody said in the comments, we got awful running back room. Alvin Kamara's old. I'm like, what? We do not have an awful running back room. What's wrong with you guys? What's wrong with this guy? One guy, or a girl, whatever. I don't know. It's a lady, whatever. I don't know. Whoever the person is, just a bad comment. We don't have an awful running room. Alvin Kamara is an all-world back if you know how to use him that way. He's always in condition. He comes in ready to play football. Hell, he could have played football 2 months ago. If they say, hey, man, we're about to play a game right now. You ready? Oh, there's none more ready than him to play an actual game. He's ready. He's game shape right now. So having him there is also knowing how to use these guys. And then you have Jamal Williams as a compliment. Jamal Williams is a good north-south runner if you know how to utilize him. How did Detroit have Jamal Williams and he goes for 17 rushing touchdowns, you're right, lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns, and then the very next year go to the Saints and get one, and they had to defy Dennis Allen to get it on a play that's supposed to be a kneel down. How does that work? How do you go to 17 to damn near none, and you get one that many of them don't even much won't count? I mean, how does that work? Because guys don't know how to use these people. If you use them correctly, that's what it looks like. So we have guys, if you know how to utilize them, they can bring you a lot of success. That's what it's all about. Knowing how to put players, and Mickey said this last night, how to put players in positions to win. That's up to the coach to do. That's the coach's damn job to do. He has to put the players in position to be successful. That's what it comes down to. So, yeah. It's a part of the game, man. But, yeah, I don't think then you had Taysom in there, and Taysom is old. Taysom Hill kicking ass. Bottom line, I don't care if he's in his middle 30s or whatnot. Guys are scared to tackle him. I mean, what's wrong with people? He's scared to tackle him. Taysom Hill, like I told y'all before, Taysom Hill as a running back, because he was basically, when he got back there as a quarterback, he only threw the ball 11, 12, 13 times all of last year, but the majority of the time when he got the ball, he turned into a running back. Even when he had chances to throw the ball, he just became a running back. And they knew he was in there anytime. Everybody and their mama, their daddy, their mother, their sisters, the brothers, the uncles, the damn dog, and the cats. Everybody knew when Taysom Hill was in the game that he was going to be running the football. Everybody knew it. We knew it. The team he was playing against knew it. So how in the hell did Taysom Hill still average 5 yards a carry when everybody, the daddy, the mama, the kids, the uncles, the aunts, the dog, the cat, the parrots, every damn body knew that he's about to run, and he still averaged 5 yards a carry? How the hell he did that? And then they say, "Oh, he old." Hell, well, give me some of that goddamn super vitamin that he taking, man. I mean, they all know you there, and you ain't no threat throwing it. You're a threat running it, and they crowding the line of scrimmage. You still average 5 yards a carry. How the hell that work? Explain that one to me. But you got that guy along with the rest of it. Then you like Randolph mentioned Mims, who's not a bad running back. So the Saints have good value there. So I don't know these people talking about, oh, we got bad value there, man. Get your mind right. All right, so anyway, let's jump into it, man. This is a few of the observations, man, that happened during camp. Shout out to John Hendricks, man, and my brother Kyle T. Mosley, Bob Rose over there doing a thing. And we'll cover some of the stuff that he meticulously recorded today. I'm going to go over that with a few things from camp. I'll show y'all some footage from camp today while I kind of go over this training camp report. All right, so anyway, Saints training camp recap, day number 1, attendance. It was all good signs on the first day. The only player that he didn't spot was Nephi Sewell, who's on the PUP list. Juwan Johnson had a foot, passing your Achilles, were both out there, but were obviously not in pads. Johnson was no longer sporting a sporting boot, for what it's worth. Kendre Miller and Justin Haran both left practice early, with Miller getting out during individual drills after a hamstring injury. Haran left towards the end of the practice with a knee issue, but the initial prognosis is nothing major. Dennis Allen made it a point to single Miller out during his post-practice press conference. We're going to play that, by the way. We're going to react to every one of these press conference things. I'm going to go through this, and then we'll transition into the reaction stream. All right, Allen said that's a player who needs to figure out how to stay healthy, because you can't make the team in the training room. I promise you they won't get rid of that, man. That's not an ideal start for Kendre Miller, to say the least. Meanwhile, no limitations for Chris Olave. That's a good sign. He participated in team drills. Chase Young was a limited participant and was the second defensive end walkthroughs, opposite of Peyton Turner. Starting looks. Not much change from minicamp. Starting O-line was what he was. It was Fuaga, Nick Seldaveric, McCoy, Ruiz, and Trevor Penning, while the backup unit was Landon Young, Shane Lemieux, Lucas Patrick, Kyle Hergel, and Ali Udo. The third string unit was Justin Haran, Nori Nueli, I hope I'm saying that right, Sincere Hainsworth, Mark Evans, and Josiah Israhim. Dallin Hawker ran primarily with the first team. There you go. Defensively, the Saints played in base with Cam, Kalen Saunders, Nate Shepard, and Carl Granderson were along the line with Pete Werner and DeMario, and Willie Gay were at linebacker. Paulson and Debo, Marshawn Lattimore were on the outside with Abrams and Tyrann Mathieu at safety. Jalen Ford got some reps with the first team, which is good. I like that kid. Y'all look up his stats if you hadn't, his highlights you had. Jalen Ford, the rookie out linebacker from Texas, very productive player. All right, so anyway, second team defensive looks, including Pate Turner, Brian Bursey, Christian Boyd, Chase Young, Kaliki Hudson, DeMarco Jackson, Anthony Orji, and linebacker Kool-Aid McKinstry at corner with Alante Taylor and Will Harris and Jordan Howden on the back end. What's really interesting is, like I said before, Jonathan Abram has been the guy that's really been stepping in there. And Jonathan Abram, listen, love Jonathan Abram's game. A big part of Jonathan Abram's game is the fact that he'll knock your head off. But at the same time, his issues was coverage. He started, a lot of people seeing Jonathan Abram improving there. And he's a guy that comes up, loves playing around the line of scrimmage like a linebacker. And he don't have any tackling issues. He'll flatten you. I love his toughness, but the coverage issues was something that always kind of loomed over him. The quarterback performances, how the quarterback stacked up today. Derek Carr was 4-5. He did have a pick. Jake Haener was 2 for 3. Spencer Rattler was 0 for 3. Peterman was 1 for 1. Derek Carr, first team. First series saw him throw only one pass, as the first pass was a toss to AK-41 to the left that got blown up by Willie Gay Jr. and Carl Granderson. The next one was a play action rollout to the right. He connected underneath with Foster Monroe. Willie Gay Jr. made the tackle, which looked like it was for a loss. The third play was a run to the right with Kamara that saw him get to the second level. Trevor Penning made a good block on the play. They tried Kamara again in the middle of the next one, but he ran into Nate Shepard. The final play of the series was a short left run with Jamal Williams that saw Christian Boyd and Isaiah Foskey step in the limelight there. Second team, first play was one to forget for Carr. He was picked over the middle by Demario Davis. It was actually a pick six that was intended for Rashid Shaheed. Pete Werner was also in the area, but Davis with Demario on the rep. Trevor Penning had a solid rep against Carl Granderson. Carr came back to find Shepard on the short hookup on the right sideline. Despite a small tip from Granderson, Jamal Williams got a run to the left following that Granderson stop. In the fourth play, Alvin Kamara went in motion to the right, and they hit him with a screen. Both Carl Granderson and Willie Gay were able to snub out the play. The final play was a short completion over the middle by Jamal Williams off play action, which Isaiah Foskey beating Penning and likely drawing a hold in the process, right? So that's what it is. Jake Hayner's day. Hayner got a couple of reps there, with the first being a Jameis Robinson run to the right side. A long pass attempt was off to the play action. He went for Michael Jacobson, that's the backup tight end. But Anthony Orji nearly had the pick and would have been credited with a pass breakup. His second series saw him complete a pass to Jordan Mims for a short gain underneath, and it was on a dump off left to Mims on the third play. The middle play was a middle run out to the shotgun to Robinson that saw Christian Boyd and Peyton Turner combine for a tackle for a loss. Spencer Rattler. Rattler's first series started with a middle run with Jordan Mims, the Anthony Orji stuffing it up the loss, and Anthony, a lot of people talking positive about Anthony Orji. Could he possibly be a guy that's the linebacker out of Vanderbilt from last year? He was undrafted. Could he finally step up? Been hearing a lot of positive stuff about him during the offseason. All right, so anyway, he went off to a rollout to the next one that was intended for Michael Jacobson to the left, but he dropped it. It was a second series that saw him start in a shotgun and try a short pass to Dylan Hawker that was broken up by Nico Lalos at the line. He tried a pass attempt again on the final play, trying Mason Tipton short to the left that was broken up by Shamar Jean-Charles. Nate Peterman came in to run two plays after Rattler in each team series. The first saw him have two handoffs, one to the left and the short one to Mims, and a run inside with Jacob Cabote, right? All right, so that saw Xander Horvat throw a nice block on Jalen Ford. The other two reps had Cabote running to the right with Jack Heflin getting the stop, and the last one was the biggest play of the day with a deep left sideline connection to A.T. Perry working against Rico Payton. So there you go. Nate Peterman say, hey, man, I'm in here trying to win a job too. So there you go. All right, little lanyard. All right, the practice venue quite spacious. The Saints to work in. UC Irvin has double fields that offer a bit more space than normal. Dennis Allen made the defense do about 2 minutes of up and downs to begin their work. This was the first time that he's seen it in quite some time. But Allen said it's something he and the Saints have done since Greg Williams was around. Cam Jordan made a point to pull the defense together after up and down to give a bit of a speech to them. Willie Gay was one of the biggest standouts in practice today. He thought he looked good. It looked great, actually, and was all over the place making plays. That's what we talked about Willie Gay. He'll change the whole dynamic of the team if he can take the job from Pete Werner, right? Looking forward to that battle. I told y'all about that. There was a great moment when Alontae Taylor was giving some pointers coaching Kool-Aid McKinstry. We're still seeing motion as the main staple in Clint Kubiak's offense. 4 of the first plays Derek Carr ran and team featured it. A lot of motion, and that's good. Blake Grupe was 8 for 8 on the day, which is a great start. New Orleans had some interesting wrinkles that worked on during the field goal attempt, showing that they're at least thinking about different scenarios. Lou Hetley's charting punts from today started very strong and then had a few shanks. Each punt was from his team's own 35-yard line. So there you go. Punt return duties fell on Rashid Shaheed, Jermaine Jackson, don't take it personal, Mason Tipton, and while Taysom Hill, Jonathan Abram, and Jordan Howden also served as the person protector. Alvin Kamara reinforced his desire to retire with the Saints. As he discussed previously, the issue more about the season will play him momentarily. Cam Jordan revealed that he got hurt against the Falcons last year and wasn't the same after, but was strong for the next 10 weeks on having anything left in the tank. He said, you'll see. Well, he said, you'll see why I think. And we'll play that. And I ain't going to get too much in there. Shout out to John Hendricks with giving us a little insight on the camp today. Big ups to you. Appreciate you, my friend. let's move into some of the reaction stuff, fam, before we get going as well. All right, Pelicans Nola says, Big Q, Pete Werner's job is gone. All right. Hey, man, that's what I want to hear. All right. No disrespect to Pete Werner. Pete Werner will say, they want them to take my goddamn job out. No, it's not about that. We need another speed linebacker, an attack dog type linebacker. Willie Gay is that. He has the speed. And see, we need somebody that can cover the tight ends. We got killed in the games when we couldn't cover the tight end. The Detroit game, I can't remember the man, LaCondra. I forgot the man. And y'all put it in the chat. Y'all know who I'm thinking about. That guy killed the Saints. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Prior to that, I heard him have a few good games, but boy, he made a name off the Saints. He made a name off the Saints in that Detroit game. And if you got a good athletic tight end, they're going to use that. So we needed a linebacker that can cover them tight ends, that can blitz, that can jump into coverage. And he can, with that kind of player, that gives the Saints an edge that I haven't seen them have since Quan Alexander was here. Laporta, there you go. Laporta. Laporta must be Spanish for kick the Saints in the ass, because that's what that guy did. Not only just him, but the Minnesota Viking tight end tore the Saints up. And remember I talked about that? That guy, the Saints popped him. He fell on his head, right? On his head. He obviously looked concussed. He got up, walked out, walked off the field. I was like, man, that guy ain't coming back. That guy came back and tore the Saints up some more. And I'm like, man, we got to do something about that. So having Willie Gay there, and perhaps we can find another fast linebacker like our guy is Jalen Ford, the linebacker the Saints picked up with the 5th round pick out of Texas. Anthony Orji, the undrafted guy. We know Nephi Sewell was showing some potential, but he got hurt last year. So we need somebody. DeMarco Jackson, where the hell is this guy at? And DeMarco's strong suit was never drop into coverage. It was never dropping into coverage, but he's more like a seek and destroy type linebacker. Coverage is kind of a weak suit, but we need young linebackers that can step up, that are athletic linebackers in the Saints defense. That's what the hell we need. Yeah, Sam Laporta. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Yeah, and Hawkinson. Yeah, them guys killed the Saints. They killed the Saints, man. They killed the Saints. Hawkinson killed the Saints, man. Killed them. And any good linebacker, tight end that you have that's a pass-catching tight end, if you meet the 49ers with their guy, or you're going to see Kelsey with KC, we need Gay. Gay's not afraid of he came from over there. That'll be a challenge. We need guys with that type of temperament. Like, I got him, bro. I got him, man. Y'all go ahead and do what y'all got. I got this guy. I got him. That kind of mentality. Willie Gay has that kind of mentality to him. So anyway, man, let's kind of move over there. Hold on, man. Let me get this tuned up here. What the hell happened to my Hold on, fam. Give me just a second here. I thought I had it all tuned up, and then it popped off. Here, give me just a second. I'm going to put it back up here. Good gracious. I thought I had it. Hold on here. I thought I had it already popped up. Yeah, but that's the big thing that I want to see, man, from the black and gold, man, coming up is what the hell, we need to see that. We need to see that line, that speed on that defense. That's a really big component for us so we don't get hammered by them damn tight ends, to be honest with you. All right, so anyway, man, let's here it is. We're going to start off with the one and only Dennis Flippin' Allen. He'll talk about the Saints, and I know he was kind of fired up about Kendre Miller, but I don't know why you that fired up. If the man had a hamstring issue, I don't know what you want me to what the hell you want him to do about it. If he had a hamstring issue, it's just what it is.
Training camp, but a good start.
The up downs to start the day, is that kind of a tone setting thing?
Yeah, that was started under Greg Williams, and I've kept that going all the way through being a coordinator, head coach, and look, it's just part of the buy-in.
Is there anything you're doing different from a tempo standpoint, amount of team drills, speed of team drills, like anything that you notice out here that's different from past?
Well, I don't know that you're going to notice a ton from a structure standpoint. The attention to detail and the demand, I think has to be higher. You know, because look, and I've said this, you know, what we've done has not been good enough. We all man enough to understand that and accept that, and we need to be better. And to do that, I think we've got to demand more out of ourselves and each other.
How do you feel you came out of the first day health-wise? Only a couple players might have left.
Yeah, look, I think overall.
All right, I need y'all. Some of the family members. I'm going to appoint during Dennis Allen's speech or his comments. I need somebody to keep a toll on look. Okay, look. I need a look counter. I need a look counter. All right, I think he done fired 2 of them in there already. So let's keep it going here.
Decent. I think Heron, they were just checking out his knee a little bit. Initial indication is that they don't think it's much. Kendre's got a hamstring. Look, that's a player that's going to have to figure out how to stay healthy, because it's hard to make the team, you know, when you're in the training room all the time.
You're referring to Kendra Miller, you mean?
Correct.
Who's the first player you said?
Justin.
Oh. And you mentioned that Alvin Kamara would be out here today. How do you feel in terms of what you saw from him?
Yeah, look, I mean, he looked good out here. I liked what I saw. Appreciate the fact that he's out here. He's working with his teammates. He's had a positive attitude, and you know, so that's been good. I'm excited about that. I'm happy about that.
Dennis, another guy out here today was Chase Young. I was over with you when you were kind of, what was the conversation like? He did a drill, a blocking drill, and you kind of brought him to the side.
Yeah, look, I think there's just some fundamental things that we teach that may be different than what he's been used to maybe in the past, and so I think that's part of the coaching process, understanding how we're going to do things. You know, his process is going to, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time before we kind of get him out here and get him acclimated fully into practice. But look, I think that's the first time he's hit anything, you know, probably since the season last year. So I think part of it is, you know, let's get him indoctrinated into walkthroughs today, a little bit of individual, and then see how he responds. And if he responds well, we'll try to do a little bit more tomorrow.
Dennis, would you say you're more confident with where Trevor Penning is now and maybe his ability to get to where you need him than you've been in past years, or not?
Yeah, look, I mean, he's going into year 3, you know, so this is kind of the year that he needs to really step up and make some progress. And I saw some of that, you know, in the spring, and hopefully he'll be able to continue that into you know, throughout training camp and into this fall. And look, I think as much as anything for him, it's developing that confidence in himself, that he belongs here and that he can do the things that are necessary, you know, to play at this level. And I believe he can. And I'm going to give him an opportunity to see what he can do.
You still believe in the skill set as much as you did when you drafted him?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's really more, I don't think the skill set is a challenge. You know, now some of the fundamentals and techniques and being able to utilize those better and understand how to utilize those better, I think that's something he's got to improve on. But in terms of his athletic ability and his skill set to play the position, he's got everything we need.
He was saying yesterday how he's going to maybe observe this team as a chip on his shoulder. I'm wondering what you've noticed of that. I mean, do you agree with it? Or?
Yeah, I'd say we need to. You know, I'd say we need to have a little bit of chip on our shoulder. And so I think we've approached the season that way. I know I've approached the season that way. I think our players have too, and I think we have something to prove. But, you know, ultimately what it really boils down to is us being out here, putting in the work, being demanding on ourselves and each other, holding each other accountable. And then going out and functioning and operating at a high level when we have a chance to do that. And so that's really what it's about.
I don't know if you saw, that it was of the St. Brown's Brothers broadcast and Amon St. Brown on the Lions. He was saying that, like, no one in the receiver room, like of the Saints, believes that they could win the Super Bowl. EQ was pretty adamant that's on, then Cam Jordan got in. But like to see kind of the response from players that they do believe they can win a Super Bowl. What do you make of that, and what do you kind of notice of the belief maybe your team has?
Well, I would say nobody outside of our building knows what's going on inside of our building. I'd say that first of all. And secondly, I'd say that, I think our guys feel like they have something to prove. And but nothing that is said means anything. It all boils down to what you're willing to sacrifice out here on a daily basis, and the amount of work that you're willing to put in.
Guys, how do you look at the first play of that team period when DeMario steps in front and gets a pick six? Are you initially like excited because it's a defense? How do you look at it as the head coach?
Here's the great thing about being the head coach is that when there's a play that's made, you get to be excited either way, right? If the offense makes a big play, yeah, I get excited about that. Now, there's challenges and things we have to fix on the other side of the ball, right? And so that's part of it. And look, I think I wouldn't read too much into interceptions and things of that nature. I'm talking from the quarterback perspective in this, part of training camp, because this is where, like we're trying to get the timing and the rhythm and what can we do and what can we not do, what can't we get away with, and so I just think that's part of the process. But yeah, I think, from a defensive perspective, it's good to see. I think takeaways is probably the, other than, scoring offense and scoring defense, that's the next most valuable, predictor of winning games.
Well, first and foremost, man, let me tell you something, bro. People do know what's going on in the building, brother. It's not like if they get leaks out of the White House, they get leaks out the Saints facility. People do actually know what's going on in the building. They got insiders everywhere. It's insiders everywhere. That's number one. That's how we know what's going on. That's how we know the fractures in the team. That's how we know about word on the street. Your boy hit you with the word on the street. I got my ears on the street, and I'm telling you what time it is. They are insiders that let you know what time it is. And Dennis Allen defers, what is he supposed to say when people say that? Dennis Allen's heard it. Listen, for you to have that temperament, you've heard it all. You listen. You've heard it all. Yeah, and the thing is to just push it aside and say nothing, nobody what they're saying means nothing. No, it means something. Because not what everybody's saying is incomplete. It's not saying that it's wrong. Just because you don't like what they're saying doesn't mean that it's not right. You just don't like it. And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing about truth. Truth is, what they say, sweet in the mouth, but sour in the belly. That's what the old folks used to say. That's that old grand wisdom. That old very grand wisdom. So yeah, as opposed to deciphering, that's what I was saying about deciphering what's being said. And he don't have to, but listen, it's going to come to him because his family, they're going to hear from it. You can't isolate yourself on an island like you John in the Isle of Patmos somewhere. It's not going to work. Not in today's game, in today's world. So you hear a lot of it. It's difficult to isolate yourself from it, especially when a lot of the larger media operations are mimicking the talking and the discussions of the smaller ones. That's the game now. But like I said with Dennis Allen, what is he supposed to say here? Just take it as fire and use it. That's when you have the chip on your shoulder. When people are playing you down, let them know that. Let them name that, man, these people saying we ain't hitting on nothing. Use that as a method to inspire the team, to galvanize the team together, to create the mentality of it's the Saints against the world. Nobody thinks we're going to do anything. Take that and utilize that, turn that, convert that energy, that negative energy, because I don't think a lot of it's negative. I think a lot of it's valid over what we've been saying over the last couple of years, to be honest with you. Take that energy and convert it. Use it to galvanize the team around you. Create a us against the world mentality. Don't just discount it and throw that on. That don't do anything. No, take that energy and utilize it to your better benefit.
know this a shorter practice today, but this is indicative of what you expected, right? Otherwise,
Yeah.
getting all the work in.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, it's certainly not the weather that we have, you know, back home in terms of the heat and humidity, but you know, it was a little warm out here today, but I think, you know, overall, I think it's about what we expected.
With Willie's skill set, does that kind of, as a defense, kind of force you to take a step back and think of ways to use him that maybe you have in the past?
Yeah, look, I would say this. I'd say number one, I'd say what we've done around here defensively and the scheme that we've utilized has been pretty effective in our league. And so, but within that, we're always trying to adapt the scheme to what our players can do well. And so I think that's a twofold deal. I think Willie's got to make sure that he's understanding what we're asking him to do and how we're asking him to do it and be able to execute that at a high level. And then our job is to figure out the things that he does really well and try to put him in those positions as much as we can. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, that's DA, man. And this is the funny part about, you know, that, like I said, I ain't have too many issues with Dennis Allen. And like I was saying, telling the family members, is that me personally, I'm not really going to just be, you know, I'm going to be very critical of Dennis Allen. But at some point, like when he started talking like the way that coach is supposed to talk, like they talked about accountability and all that, that's the difference. Here's AK.
The other guys on the team, especially your running back, that you are here for day one.
Yeah, I ain't stupid. I ain't gonna get the money up. I'm trying to get some money, right? So I was gonna be here. I mean, it's no one that has a jersey on. It's nobody. Not even. I wouldn't even blame any coaches. What's going on with contract issues right now, right? Like, I mean, this happens all across the league. It's happened here. It's happened everywhere, right? You know, people trying to get contracts, trying to get paid, and I'll be a fool to spite my teammates because of a dispute I'm having with upstairs, or I wouldn't even call it a dispute. We're just having conversations about compensation. So, man, I was gonna be here. I mean, shit, Derek saw me, he was surprised. But you know, it's not like I was telling everybody like I'm gonna be here. But man, I'm not that guy. Like I'm for the team. So I'm here. I'm doing what I got to do. I'm working.
Is there hope that as you go through the process of training camp and everything, and you go into business as usual off the field, that you can get something done, reworking your contract?
Hopefully.
What that was, the message of leaving early during minicamp, just, you know, it's a little show of leverage, or what is it?
Trying to get a contract done, and it just ain't been nothing happening. Like, it ain't been no real conversations or any, I would say, worthy conversations of contract. So that last day was just me saying, you know, I think there was a misconception about, oh, well, Alvin didn't say anything about contract, which I never do, really. I mean, it's just, you know, it's time. We've been talking about it a little bit. It hasn't been anything really meaningful. It's been kind of one side where they at, and I'm kind of like, nah. So I went to the crib.
All right, so, and Mickey Loomis kind of touched on this yesterday during the press conference. The Saints don't see, and he kind of had this hand gesture where he was talking about players wanting to get paid. Everybody think they, you know, supposed to get a raise. Not him. He give himself a damn raise anytime he wants. He got 2 damn jobs. He's a VP and the general manager. He collecting 2 checks. One of them with VP is a very decent VP. The general manager, not so much. I think he passed his prime on that. But in terms of Alvin Kamara, the kind of money that Alvin Kamara is looking for, the Saints don't. And where it is, they're apart. That was the thing, like apart. So I don't know if it's going to happen, because the caveat is, what does he want? What does he want? Does he want Christian McCaffrey? I don't think it's exactly what Christian McCaffrey's getting, because Kamara's making decent money now. But the issue is something near there. Maybe not exactly what it is, but something near there. And it's like, Saints like, no. And then it's the thought process of the position, in part, in which Alvin Kamara plays, the running back position, which most people have a idea that the running back position is devalued, and to a degree this is true, but he's an outlier. This is the rule. This is the, you know, you have the rule and then you have the exception to the rule. This man is the exception to the rule. So is Christian McCaffrey. These type of running backs don't get treated like a regular running back. These are the exception backs. Alvin Kamara still could be a good value for the Saints, depending on where the money is, depending on what the Saints, because Mickey Loomis ran the Saints into a very crappy territory in terms of the money. He really has. That Derek Carr contract was ridiculous. It was stupid. We couldn't afford Derek Carr. We should have did something else. It was a desperation move, but hell, we got to do. What can I say? There were other questionable contracts. The Marcus May contract. Remember, we signed him and he got beat out by the rookie last year. Dude couldn't even stay on the field. If he wasn't suspended, he was hurt. So it was other stuff. And then not just last year, but over the years, period, that kind of made the Saints what they are contractually speaking. Alvin Kamara is still a top-tier playmaker and running back, in my opinion. Now, like I said, what I heard Mickey and the energy in which he was given versus what AK-41 just said, you can see that they're apart. So is this a situation where the Saints allow the market to dictate Alvin Kamara's value? And the thing is also, maybe the Saints want to take a look and see what Alvin Kamara looks like in this new offense. The same offense that helped Christian McCaffrey get his bread. The same offense that helped Christian McCaffrey get to that level where he was leading the league rushing last year. Alvin's never been there. Perhaps this is the year he gets there. He's done a lot of phenomenal stuff for the Saints, but in terms of him doing stuff like that, he hasn't done that. Maybe the Saints are looking at it like that. So when we start talking about McCaffrey, we know if you look at the overall statistics of both men, they're very similar. Some with more accolades than others. But in the end, I think, like I said, the alignment, everything just fell perfectly for Christian McCaffrey. He played I think every game last year, had a phenomenal year stat-wise, and they was like, man, order to kind of get back to this thing and try this again, we can't do it without him. The Saints don't have the same energy for AK-41. Unfortunately, it appears at this current juncture of time, and definitely based on what Alvin was just saying. All right, 504 says Q 3 for 30, fair AK. And, is that really what it is? But it's like a 2-year extension, and the Saints are looking at, like I said, man, we'll see what Mickey Loomis got up his sleeve, man. But, man, I would love to try this with it. I'm not even going to go there. All right, so big ups. Okay, Brother Prime, how you doing, Brother Prime? How you doing, sir? He says, I hope my South Carolina fan has been safe. Vote. All right, thank you, Voal Maga. All right, thank you, Brother Prime. Appreciate you, sir, for being a member of the last 42 months. All right, OG Jerry says everywhere. All right, so anyway, let's finish up. Here we go. AK-41.
Money this year or looking ahead?
Looking ahead. I mean, and I've said it before, I want to be a Saint. You know what I'm saying? I want to retire here. If I got to play football somewhere else, I'll probably be somewhere with my feet kicked up in Africa somewhere or something like that. But, yeah, I want to be a Saint, and it's not, I don't know, I don't really, for me, I don't really watch football. I have everything football muted on my socials, everything. Like, I don't even see what's going on. So, I don't know what people say, but just for me to set the record, I'm not asking for nothing. I'm not asking for nothing crazy where it's like, oh my gosh, we can't do that. Well, that's my perception of it. Whatever the perception is upstairs with whoever makes those decisions, it's obviously different than what my perception is. So, we just carry on. I gotta just do what I do, and I'll focus on what I gotta do.
It's obviously a fine line. So, do you feel like that message that you were trying to get across was received in the way you hoped it would?
I don't know. I wouldn't. Maybe. I guess you gotta ask who y'all feel like. You gotta ask the question of whoever y'all feel like would answer that, had an answer for that.
How do you separate the two, Alvin? How do you separate the two and not let one leak over to the other?
What you mean? Like the contract and then this? A long time ago, and two people that I love dearly, Mark Ingram and Cam Jordan, they told me this business is conditional and don't take anything personal. And I've done a good job of that. So it's not really personal, it's just business. So anything any decisions that I make, it's not out of emotion. It's just we handling business, right? So it's like playing chess. Somebody make a move, you gotta assess the situation, and then you make a move based on what that opponent makes. So not to say we're opponents, but just analogy wise, but It's not personal. It just is what it is. I'm gonna come out here, work, do what I got to do, kick it with my teammates, and if something get done, they do. If not, then.
Was you started with you approaching them about wanting an extension, or they?
They can't. I thought it was gonna get converted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they talked about doing an extension.
Yeah.
And then there was other talks about other things that I'm not gonna get into.
Sure.
But I guess there were some feelings that I didn't do something, or I didn't do something that they wanted me to do, and we're here now. So I mean, it ain't really been too many conversations. I ain't had too many personal conversations with the parties involved. So
that's very odd, man. They didn't want me to do. He's just speaking generally. I assume, but that's very odd that Alvin Kamara, Very weird, man. Very weird. Very weird. Good comment, 504 Coach says, paid Cam, but you're not paying AK. Don't make sense. Cam's washed. But I understand why they paid him, so pay AK. It's not like you saying what could be the rationale? Let's just study upon it right here, right quick, before we get back to it. What could be y'all put it in the chat, all of the great Saint think tank. What could be the rationale for the Saints saying they don't want to pay Alvin Kamara his money? What could be the rationale? What could be the rationale? Yeah, M. Dot says, what did they want him to do? I don't know if is he saying that he just speaking generally. I'm gonna have to replay that part of the conversation, because when I be listening to this, I be trying to because they be speaking in between and saying stuff in between. I don't understand that aspect of it. I don't get that part of the game. What's the difference here? Why is it like that? Anyway, let's listen again. Let me listen to it again. Hold on here, man. Let me get my little internet message.
I guess there were some feelings that I didn't do something, or I didn't do something that they wanted me to do, and we're here now. So I mean, it ain't really been too many conversations. I ain't had too many personal conversations with the parties involved. So
they ain't do something. What? There was some feelings about him doing. He didn't do something that they wanted him to do. That wasn't general. He was actually speaking on something without speaking on it. You know what I mean? He kind of threw out a riddle there for you to figure out. He ain't want to get too deep with it. He just keeping his skin level. But what the hell the Saints wanted him to do? Where they didn't get his money, where they wouldn't pay him? Because you can't justifiably say, okay, maybe we don't see giving you Christian McCaffrey money because you haven't done this, that, and the third, but could it be right up under there? Because Alvin Kamara, for a long time, has been making pretty decent money for the Saints, and he's not chopped liver. Even though people say Q late in his late 20s, he's getting close to 30 years old, he's not an abused back. He's not an overused running back where he just beat the hell. And he's not. No, Alvin Kamara has been very underutilized, especially the last 2 years. He's not a guy that has just been beat to hell. You see what I'm saying? Like a running back, the guy just don't have, like Freeman was when he left Atlanta. He had nothing more to give. They just took everything out of him and said, okay, you can go. That's not Alvin Kamara. Especially if you're using that Alvin Kamara in the type of system that you got going on. It's in comparison to other backs. But he using them correctly, he could become a New Orleans McCaffrey. What's the rationale here if it's just tied to the cap? Well, hold on, we just don't have the money to pay you. And I don't buy that for a smitten second. But what's the rationale here? I don't know. What does he want? What did he want him to do? What the hell did the Saints want Alvin Kamara to do? What did he want him to do? That's the riddle. That's the goddamn riddle. What the hell did the Saints want him to do? That's the funny. I don't know what's going on with that one. Y'all
Curious because with DeMario and Tyron, they got extensions along with like pay cuts this year. Is that something they wanted you to do at any point?
Something like that, maybe. I mean, but we didn't even get to the point of really getting anywhere with an extension. It wasn't really a negotiation thing. I say that.
What would you say it was?
When they didn't restructure your contract, was that a concern for you and your agents? Because generally, you would assume if they restructure it, that means they're kind of.
Hey, could that be it? That's interesting. Good comment there. The handsome nerd says maybe DA still upset about AK public comments and they want him to apologize publicly. That's a smart comment. Perhaps. We don't know. But something, you know, but would that be large enough for them to say, hey, man, we're not going to give you the extension, even though Alvin Kamara is the best offensive player the Saints have? He's the best offensive player they have. There is no playoff run without Alvin Kamara. And you got Kendre Miller, who's banged up right now with a hamstring situation. Jamal Williams is a compliment back. And then you go into veteran backs, Taysom Hill, depending on how you're going to use Taysom Hill. Alvin Kamara is the Saints' best offensive player. And they don't shot, you know, it appears he wants to be a Saint and he'd be willing to work with you on the money. You know, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for that comment, fam. That's very interesting. He said they wanted him to shut up and color. Don't speak up versus the front office. Yeah, don't listen to that Big Q guy and them goddamn, the great Saint think tank. Don't listen to them guys. They'll get you in trouble. Yeah, and those guys that get your ass in trouble. I had to fuss at them the last couple of times. Guy had walked up on me at Rouse's. I was in there buying some clams, and and they were out of season. I was trying to look for them, and it was clam chowder, and I had to get some oysters. And don't worry about that. That's none of your damn business. But a guy walked up on me, and I was like, oh my God, I had that thing on me. I had to hear about anybody. I ain't right here in my side pocket here. I had to say that to the guy. The guy was like, hold on, I just wanted to tell you, that you need to retire. Oh, they're crazy. The great Saint down, those guys are crazy. They're insane. So don't listen to those guys. Oh no, I don't do that. They'll get your ass in trouble. Oh, your ass is grass. Don't listen to the great Saint think tank. Oh my God. But you might have a point on that. But is that big enough for them to be petty like that? Mickey is a petty guy, so I guess that answers my own damn question. What's up, True Hurt? Shout out to you, fam. Appreciate you, man.
I'm looking long term when they restructured everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Africa, and they was talking about that, and nothing really happened. So I was just enjoying my time in Africa, and we in July, almost August, and nothing has happened. And I think I've always told you I want to be a Saint for a long time, for as long as my career goes, and that's really all I'm looking for, really. I mean, some people say the money don't matter. The money does matter, but in the grand scheme of things, I made a lot of money, and I do well off the field also. So there's kind of like a feel of like, okay, well, I wanted to be fair, but at the same time, I'm not chasing nothing. You know what I'm saying? As far as money goes, I'm not chasing nothing that's outlandish or that's like off-putting. That should be off-putting. So I don't know. I'm just doing my duty.
Man, this dude giving you everything. He giving you everything. So the question was about money. Alvin Kamara said, I made a lot of money. He's very, very responsible. And not like I need to get paid the way, money's important. But I feel like I presented enough, such and such, such and such. I've done a lot for the franchise. He came here. Alvin Kamara this year is going to become the Saints' #1 all-time rusher. Cam Jordan was the sack master of the Saints. He done did that for him. He broke off and became a Saint for life. Alvin Kamara is a guy, and listen, he has his flaws. He's not perfect. He's not perfect. He did have the issues back in the day, but none of this was like big issues, so to speak. He got in a fight. The guy disrespected his family. He was a pigeon on that one. The guy starts popping off to him and two other guys, and all this kind of stuff, and they stumped him in the hamburger meat. That cost him a lot of money to do that, to represent. But the guy poked at his pride, especially when you're in front of your girl. You can't let that fly. He couldn't let that fly. You know, that's when you're supposed to let your goons go ahead and handle their business. You know, you just bail out your goons. I'm pretty sure he on that time now. But outside of that, Alvin Kamara is not a troublemaker, man. He's a smart dude. Obviously, you heard him say he's done well for himself. Alvin's always been an intelligent player, an intelligent person, period. But the money demands don't appear like they're astronomical to the point where the Saints can't appease them. What else is going on here? Doesn't seem like the issue is with Alvin in terms of what he's asking for. And Mickey gave it to you, Dave, the other side. And Alvin don't even mention them. He says the other parties or whatever else, you know. And it's just Mickey was like, oh, well, their value's up here, and we see your value down here. And Alvin's like, no. So, I mean, perhaps this all changes once the season get going, in terms of the regular season get going. You see Alvin Kamara playing with a chip on his shoulder, goes out there in a year and shows up, and perhaps the Saints come to their senses and break them off. So, I mean, it don't appear to me that Alvin Kamara, in a least sense of what he's saying, is not commanding, you know, a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, it's just crazy. It's funny.
Should be off-putting. Do you think that the running back market itself kind of factors into?
I mean, it does and it doesn't, right? Because I've never looked at the running back market and said, okay, that's what I should be paid. Because I mean, would y'all look at the running back market and be like, okay, you can't. It's situational. You can't compare everybody. Everybody's not the same. Just like if you want to go there, you can say, okay, well, the running back market is here, and then you look at a Christian and say, well, the running back market is this, so we can't pay him over this. Like, man, he deserved what he got. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got his money because he produced. So I don't look at the running back market. I'm looking at my situation, right?
It's hard to do that though, Alvin. You got to be real, brother. I hear what you're saying, but you got to be real. That's how players, and see, you can't, not saying you in particular, but players are their pay is based on a lot of times what other players get. Like, they do it all the time. Wide receiver would catch a certain amount of passes or have more touchdowns or whatever, and this other wide receiver got this amount of money. They'll look at that wide receiver and say, hey, man, this dude did this, and I had 5 more touchdowns in him. I should get this accounted. They do it all the time. They look at each other's contracts, and that's how they set the market. That's how it goes, so they can get more bang for the, you know, more money out of paper. They use the statistics, like they talked about, you know, touchdowns and all this kind of stuff. If Alvin Kamara had led the NFL in rushing last year, his agent could use that as a negotiation point to get more money. They could. That's what the agent for Christian McCaffrey did. They know how much percentage of Christian McCaffrey. And see, Christian McCaffrey, they said they threw McCaffrey out there. It's all about McCaffrey. It's all about McCaffrey. McCaffrey gets his extension this year. Alvin Kamara wants his extension. They both came in the league at the same time. One was a first-round pick, one was a third-round pick. But both of the guys are incredibly productive. But what Christian McCaffrey did last year is, what they're saying is, he led the NFL in rushing. He was top 5 in rushing touchdowns, all this kind of stuff, his production versus the team. So they seen him at that value and say, we can't do without this guy. And they broke him off. Now with Alvin Kamara, now granted, Alvin's never led the NFL in rushing. He never got 1,000 yards in the season, but he's been a guy that's a multi-purpose back that piles up a ton of scrimmage yards. You know, if you put everything together, he's a very difficult guy to stop. And plus the statistics went downhill, and that's a part of it that people are not going to talk about, is the fact that what happened with Dennis, that what Pete Carmichael cost, and I ain't gonna put it exactly, but the Saints offense cost Alvin Kamara some money, because had they employed the offense correctly, you know, imagine what things could have been. You could have seen a lot more productive offense flowing, which means that ties to Alvin Kamara statistics and otherwise. Good stats lead to big money. It does. If you have a certain amount of touchdowns versus other players in the NFL with touchdowns. If Alvin led, and let's say a wide receiver for the Saints had more touchdowns grabs than, you know, or, you know, he had like, he was in the top 3 in terms of receiving touchdowns, catches, than this other player over here. Then they could use that as a negotiation point to get him more money. See where he was stopped at such and such. You got it such and such. And it's a certain parameter that they put these guys in. That's the players do that all the time. They look at other players and say, I think I deserve that because I did such and such, such and such. I'm only 800 yards, all-purpose yards behind such and such, but ours is similar. And then the team laying, no, even though it looks the way, we don't. And see, the 49ers seeing McCaffrey value as such, the Saints don't see it, which is really puzzling to me because Kamara's not washed. He's not washed. I think his best years are ahead. I really do, especially if they work the offense right. But this is very concerning, man. Very.
Do you think they're looking at your last 2 years of production? We're probably by your own standards. They weren't what they were 2 years before.
Yeah.
And factoring that into a decision to restructure you going forward.
I'm sure that's a point of emphasis when they're sitting there thinking about the business side of it and then moving forward. It is what it is. Personally, I'm not gonna get into what they talking about because I don't know. I don't sit in those meetings. But for me, it was obviously disappointing the past 2 years I had. And I'm not gonna point fingers at what it was or what. I just know I don't feel like I'm on a decline. I feel like I could play for 4 or 5 more years if I want to. If it goes there. But I think that's probably part of the conversation. And then, at this position, we always get the age thrown at us, right? It's an aging running back. He's aging. He's almost 30 or this, that. So there's a hesitancy. There's like a a reluctancy to commit to an aging body at this position. And, it just, like I said, it's situational, but at the same time, it is what it is. I'm here. I'm going to come out here and do what I do. My bones don't hurt. My legs are working. My hands work. I don't feel like I have aging running back body syndrome.
You think so confident that something can get done? And if not, have you started thinking about what might come next from you if something doesn't get done?
Am I confident that something can get done? If something doesn't get done, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm just here. I'm just kind of like focused on me and kind of just keeping my mind right. Staying where I need to be at mentally, physically, emotionally to produce and play this game the way I've been able to play it for the past 7 years. I would love for something to get done. I love the city. I love the fans. I love my teammates. I want to be here, But sadly, we saw y'all saw the Hard Knocks clip with the Giants. It's stuff that it's probably conversations going on about me that I don't know about. That probably people will look at it and be like, damn, they talking about him like that. And honestly, it's business. Like, I wouldn't feel no type of way. I'd just be like, man, it is what it is. But I would love for something to get done. Like I said, if it doesn't, then what can I do?
Do you have a timetable in your head?
I don't have a timetable. I've never put like, if it don't get done by like I don't have a timetable. I would like something to get done.
What's your philosophy about playing out the regular season if there is?
If there's nothing done. I'm here. I'm playing. I plan on playing. So if there's no commitment to years after this, then shit. I feel like y'all pay attention to football more than me. I know what that means.
How much did the CBA changing with the fines being what they are now, did that influence your decision to be here?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the fines are, but I know it's probably more than missing half a day of OTA. 40 to 50,000? Yeah, so I'm not stupid. I ain't about to give up 40 to 50,000 a day. It don't take nothing to be here. I like LA.
Alvin, just to clarify what you just answered to Brett, like you're here today and you're here through December, even without a deal, is your plan? Through January?
I'm here today, man. It's beautiful. I'm breathing. Woke up, got a good practice in. I'm here with my teammates. We'll see what happens.
Let's take one or two more.
We always like how blunt and honest you are, especially with things like, is the team buying in?
Yeah.
What's your role in that? Because sometimes you make it clear when you're questioning the direction of this team, I mean, culture's been a big topic this year. Like, where are you in the buy-in to this current team right
Man,
now?
I feel good. I think overall I feel good about where the team is going. I think it's some energy that we've been missing here the past 2 years. And then I just speak personally for offense. You know, we got a revamp with a new coaching staff. I mean, new offensive staff, right? And I think the guys on offense are kind of buying into that philosophy, buying into the vision. You know, it's refreshing to have some intentional help, right? And I think I love it. I think Derek loves it, being the captain of the ship. And you know, I think it's just kind of like a breath of fresh air. Like, okay, all right, let's go. We can go now.
How much of an issue was kind of like the top-down leadership and accountability and all that stuff last year?
I mean, I think I talked about it a lot, I think, and then, I mean, we talked about it in private, right? It's like a lot of things were going on and nobody was saying anything about it, and it was just like, okay, well, let's go to the next game and the next game, and nothing was really getting addressed, and y'all know better than me, when that happens, when things keep getting swept under the rug, people start disappearing, and a lot of people disappeared. So you just gotta look at it like that, like you don't fire people for no reason.
Do you feel like you're already seeing signs of that changing, though?
Yeah, there's a different kind of accountability, I think, and I think like when we've been good around here, it was just unspoken. Like it was certain shit that you just don't do, and it was certain shit that you do, and when you keep that right there how it is, then good shit happens. When that flips and you kind of let a couple things here slide and a couple things there slide, then you get the result you got the past 2 years. And it accumulates and it compounds and it turns into some shit you don't want. It turns into a mess.
You talking about like mistakes,
practice,
or
just
buying and showing up.
Yeah, simple stuff, mistakes. I mean, I'm a very big believer in detail. So when the detail lacks, then you start to get glaring issues, and then you kind of look at it like, well, you look at the big issue like just say a fumble or Derek standing right there, interception or something, and you look at it like, well, that was a fumble, you shouldn't have fumbled, but shit, maybe it'd been a fumbling problem in practice for the past 2 weeks, and nobody said it. It's just like, all right, well, hold on to the ball instead of like, man, stop this shit. The next person that dropped the ball, it's over with, get out, like, and that's a lot of what was going on. So I think it's just kind of switched. It's how it turned a little bit.
Talk, boy! Talk, boy!
Let me tell you something, man. He hit it.
Bang! Bang! It's good!
He hit it. And see, this and fam, listen. We talked about this. We go back, if you listen to all of last year, this is what we talked about over and over and over and over again. AK-41 is letting you know exactly what happened to the Saints last year, and the fact that the last couple of years, the Saints cost them money. They really did. The poor usage of Alvin Kamara. The Saints are basing it perhaps on, and that's definitely that. They're basing it on the 600 something odd yards that he garnered. They're like, you want this kind of money, but you only rushed 600 yards last year. How you want this? But they're not looking at the fact that, hey, man, you were responsible. You're the general manager. You picked that coach. It's not. I'm an all-pro, all-world running back. If you know how to, and like I gave y'all the Jamal Williams analogy. Jamal Williams, the year before last, had 17 rushing touchdowns. He comes here to the Saints and get 1 touchdown on the very last play of the season on what was supposed to be a kneel down and snuck the piss out of Atlanta. That's the game Dennis Allen apologized to the Falcons. He got that touchdown. 1. He went from 17 to 1. Imagine how much money he missed out on. See, and they don't factor that in. They don't even consider that. And he did mention that. See, y'all didn't listen to none of these interviews. I'm listening to these interviews with you guys. I don't have time to just go listen to go. I listen when I'm listening to you right now. This is live reaction from what I'm hearing. And the Great Saint Think Tank is undefeated. It is, because everything Alvin Kamara was saying, we've been saying it. The accountability missing, the line he talked about, he has to be here, and the shabbiness of how the team was orchestrated under Dennis Allen the last couple of years. He ultimately gave the game on everything, and in giving that, I think you're right on that, fam. I think the handsome nerd is right on that by saying that, hey, man, this could be what's going on here. Why they don't, because it don't make no sense for them to say, well, Mickey Loomis ain't talked about, well, the cap. You know, well, hold on now. The cap is all messed up, Q. That's why we can't pay Alvin Kamara his money, despite the fact we paid Cam Jordan, who, you know, is on the back end, but he made him a Saints for life. Kamara said he wants to be a Saint for life. So I don't think the cap is that in the issue where it should be a big enough issue to stop from paying your number one offensive player. Oh, I don't like how he talked about my coach. He's not qualified to talk about anybody. Mickey pulled that one out the other day. He back calling people unqualified. And I was hoping one of the reporters, probably Mike Triplett, he asked more questions than anybody. I was hoping Mike fire off. Hey, Mike, next time Mickey you get the chance to talk to Mickey Loomis and y'all ask him a question about people, about the team. Well, they're not qualified. Well, you know, ask him a follow-up question. Well, Mickey, what qualifies you to be able to talk about your coach? You know, would you mind sharing that with us? Well, sure, Mike. What you can do is, first of all, you go to MickeyLoomis.com. You buy your qualifications from me. It's $150 per, and it's three tiers. Tier 1 is Mickey Master. I mean, it's a Slick Mickey 1. The second one is Mick Maestro, and the third one is Slick Mickey Master. You can get all three of them, you know, MickeyLoomis.com. You can get it. And listen, those are tier 1, tier 2, or tier number 3. Well, Mickey, how much do those cost? Well, I'm glad you asked that. You know, on MickeyLoomis.com, number 1 is $500. You know, and the Slick Mickey is that's $1,000. And to be a Mickey Maestro, that's $5,000. And then you'll be qualified to be able to talk as much shit as you can about anybody. Yeah, you buy your qualifications from me. Just go to slickmickey.com. Yeah, that's where you do it. That's where you get your goddamn, you're not qualified. Well, you got to be qualified to talk about a child's game that men are playing. When you got to be qualified, bro. You know, it's anybody can put together a team and play on the football, on a playground. It's a child's game that men are playing. Let's not overcomplicate this. It's a children's game that men play. Okay? Let's keep it $1.15 here. So I mean, it's just, there you go. Mickey was with the damn you're not qualified. He bust that, what he said, unqualified. Why are they unqualified? Man, Mickey, cut that out, bro. You sound you sound really elitist by saying that kind of stuff, man. You sound really elitist by saying, he's not qualified to talk about my guy. No, you don't like him talking about your team because you made bad decisions, and you don't like the fact when people call your bad decisions out. That's a very bad character trait to have. It's either the truth or it's a lie. It's either one or the other. If it's the truth, then everybody knows whether or not did you make the playoffs the last 2 years. There's no debating that. Well, no, we didn't. But last year we came close. We were one game away. No. You might as well say that about, you can say that about anything, man. The truth is you didn't make it. That's a fact. There's no disputing that. So, I mean, in the end, he just gets all into his Mickey feelings and all of his little his Mickey Mouse feelings about when people call him out. Stop being so thin-skinned when you're in front of the public view. It's either a win or a loss. You either did what you're supposed to do or you didn't. And right now, we didn't. Yeah. Yeah, Nick, you asked the question. Yeah, but I said Mike Triplett because Mike Triplett average at least 12 questions per press conference. It don't matter who the player is. If they allow you to ask 25 questions, Mike Triplett got 12 to 13 of them straight off the bat. And they know it. They don't be trying to overtalk Mike because you can't. Mike be getting it in. sometimes Mike be asking the questions that you want to ask, but he quick with it, you know. He'll get one and then fire another one in there, then the third one in there. That's a real gift. He get half the pay attention to Mike Triplett. That's how a lot of the game Mike is in. Listen, when Mike with Kamara's breaking this down, it's Mike Triplett and Nick Underhill asking the questions to keep this going to get you this game. It's those guys tag team in the press conference. And I love it, man, because a lot of the scoops we're not going to get if it wasn't for these gentlemen. We wouldn't. We've seen it happen over the last couple of years. It is what it is. You know, they are. You can't find a more thin-skinned general manager than Mickey Loomis. He does not like to be criticized, even though he has not done a good job. Not as of recent, that was a poor decision to hire Dennis Allen, a guy with a very crappy resume as a head coach. We talking what you done as a head coach. I don't care about that defensive coordinator stuff. When I'm hiring you as a head coach. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't a good choice. It wasn't. You know, so anyway, let's finish with Alvin Kamara.
You're here for your teammates as a running back and a player on this team, but how important is your responsibility as a tone setter?
Yeah, I mean,
culture stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like since I've been here, I've never been a rah-rah guy, right? You know, I say what I need to say when I need to say it. I usually go to guys and kind of talk to them on the side and say my piece and say what I see, and then I just set the tone on how I do, how I handle my business from a physical standpoint. You know, the tempo I set, the urgency in which I do my job. So that's kind of been my thing. You know, some people want more, some people cool with it. I don't know. That's how I've known to do it. That's how I've been known to do it. That's how I've been doing it my whole life. And I don't know. I think that's just kind of that's kind of my place. You know. I think we got guys that do the verbal and you know that got a kind of different leadership style, you know, and everybody can't have the same leadership style, you know. So I think I and you can, I don't know, maybe you got to ask my teammates. Maybe my perception is different than everybody else's perception. Maybe my style of leadership might not be what people need, but I think it is. If not, then shit, it's something to be talked about. I ain't never been scared of criticism or suggestions. So.
Thanks, Alex.
Shout out to Alvin Kamara, man. Big ups to that brother, man. Shout out to AK-41, man. That was a real good. He gave you everything, whether you want to know it or not. That was everything. That was everything. And here comes some more word. Here, we ready for some words, Sarah. Here's Derek Carr.
Is being accountable for some of the culture stuff that may have, you know, wasn't probably there last season.
Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing. You know, he was there in minicamp for the 2 days. He was really there 3 days. And then he had to go. And he showed up to camp. He's been here, which I think anytime, you know, it's not a secret, it's a contract thing, right? Anytime the player says, you know what, you know how I feel.
Hey, Derek, I got an idea. Why don't you give him some of your money? Hey, Derek, give him some of your money, brother. How about that? Let's give let's give him some of your money, okay? No, we ain't gonna do that, Q. No, yeah, I'll go talk to Dennis for him, though. How about that? I ain't gonna give him that. No, that's a bad idea, Q. Nah. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go talk to Dennis for him. How about that, Q? Is that good? Well, yeah, that might work. We'll talk to Dennis for him. Tell him to give him the contract. Do that. What y'all think? You think Derek Carr do you think Dennis Allen listens to Derek Carr to give Alvin Kamara the contract? What do y'all think? You think that'll work? You think that'll work? You know? He give him some of that supreme word salad, and I think Dennis Allen can talk to Mickey Loomis and say, go ahead and give him the paper.
And still says, I'm going to show up for my team, I'm going to show up for my organization. I think that speaks more to the front office than anything. You know, like us as teammates, you know, he was like, I was looking, I was like, you know, I didn't want to bother him, but I was ready to call him after the first team meeting if I wasn't there. But he was there, and I think that speaks. That's the loudest thing he could say, you know, by showing up and working the way that he does. He talked about his leadership style. he goes to work. You know, he comes in the best shape out of anybody. He comes in ready to go. He's on his assignments. He's all that. And he doesn't say much. You know, he talks to me. He talks to a few guys, you know, about some things and stuff like that. You know, about direction and how he sees it. And we talk through it, all that. But when we're out here, he just works. And I think hopefully that spoke volumes to, you know, whoever and whatever he's trying to get done.
Were you surprised to see him?
No. I expected to see him, but you never know. You know, again, you never want to get into anybody's business, and especially business stuff. You know.
All right, fam, hold on. We need a no counter now. All right, who can volunteer now? We had Dennis Allen with the what was Dennis Allen's term when he said look? Yeah, with the look. Okay, I need some Saints family members, the Great Saint Think Tank. I need a couple of people with the no counter. Okay, y'all update the chat. Here we go.
Personal stuff, you just won't be there for him, but like this business, you just, you know, he's a grown man. You let him do what he's got to do. But at the same time, like I expected to see him because I knew where his heart was in minicamp. I knew where his head was, and all that kind of stuff about, you know, things we had talked about. You know, so I can't say that I was surprised to see him, but I was happy to see him.
You said you seemed surprised.
I was surprised because when I first walked in the team meeting room, I always look where he's sitting. He wasn't there. He had moved a couple rows, so that's why I was like, oh shoot! I was like, okay. I was like, all right, that's better.
He's, you know, he talked about his leadership style and the fact that things hadn't been on point the last couple of years.
Yep.
How much does he really factor into the meticulousness that you guys have talked about in off season and now in training camp?
Well, I'll say this: the main thing is, you know, we've all made a commitment to each other to hold each other accountable. You know, and it starts with Clint. And Clint is holding us accountable. Like, it doesn't matter if I completed, you know, a pass to Sheed today. You know, it's gonna be like, I'll put it on this shoulder, not this shoulder, put it right here. It's like, it's coached and it's in front of everybody. You know, the starting quarterback to someone trying to make the roster. Like, everyone is getting coached extremely tough, and the standard is the standard. And, you know, if I'm getting coached, he's really talking to all the quarterbacks. If he's talking to a receiver, he's talking to all the receivers, you know, and we're all expected, you know, once that point is made, to be on it. And so we'll go in there and I'll have, you know, a handful of things especially from the first practice. There's always a handful, you know, of rust. You know, and he's going to drill, he's going to call it out and all that kind of stuff. And it's our job as players now to be like, okay, he said it, now hold each other accountable to it out here. And so I feel like we're in a good place. You know, we ended in a good place in the off season. I think we picked up right there.
Derek, how would you describe Clint, like, in those settings? Like, you know, Mickey was kind of talking about it yesterday, where he's a really quiet person when you're just kind of talking to him one-on-one, but like, you can kind of see the confidence, the confidence behind it. Like, how would you describe it?
Oh, he's very, he's meek. You know, he's like power under control. You know, he's calm, but there's certain authority to it. You know, and he knows his system. He knows this game. He's been around it since he was a kid. So mentally, he's on it. But like, you talk to him one-on-one, he's quiet. You know, he's to himself. You know, he just wants to hang out with his family. You know, nothing crazy. But when it comes to corrections in football, he's on us. You know, he calls it out. And there's just so much respect for him in our room. You know, because one, he's coaching everybody, and the standard has never changed since we met him. And so his confidence, he doesn't yell, he never yelled at us, but he does, like, in his own way, tell us like what's acceptable, what's acceptable and what's not, and he does it every single day.
How much more comfortable do you feel as you're on two Saints players?
I definitely feel more comfortable with just organization, the city, the team. You know, it's like I said, like it took longer to get used to than I thought it would. I thought being in the league, you know, 10 years, now 11, like it would happen faster. That really didn't matter. You know, you change organizations, you know, it's a learning curve. It really is, especially for the family just aspect of it. That was probably the hardest part. But this offseason has been great because I've been doing things with my teammates. You know, going out to eat, having, you know, a whole bunch of guys at the house. You know, cooking them steaks. You know, it just felt like that family atmosphere that I was just used to. You know, and they did a great job. The guys did a great job of just opening their arms and helping me get through that process last year. But this year was just, I don't want to say it's easy, but it was just more comfortable for sure.
How much more comfortable are you now? I mean, everybody's talking about being away from home, but you're actually right back home more or less now, given, you know, Cali native and all that.
Yeah. No, like, yeah, everyone's like talking about, hey, we got to go across the country. I'm like, that's that's right where my house is. I know these streets, and so for me, this is awesome. Being out here, but the sad part is like the training camp, like where you have your fans there, like you miss that. Not being in New Orleans, having our fans, to see, Chris jump up and make a play, or Lat jump a pass and break it up. Fans love that. Like we love that too. They're going crazy in walkthrough when guys catch a ball. We miss that aspect of it. But the weather and all that kind of stuff, it sets up for your mindset for it to be easy. But what a great opportunity for us to push through and make it hard. And so we like being out here. It's been cool. But it's just day one, so hopefully we continue to like it.
Derek, when Sean Payton and Drew Brees first left, the organization still talked about wanting continuity, keeping the culture they had built for a long time. It seems like the conversation has changed a little this offseason that it's 3 years out of the playoffs. Things do need to change around here. What have you noticed most from what the approach was in your first year here and what the approach is in your second year? Yeah, there's a different, it's a heightened sense of urgency. You just feel it. I thought it was good last year, but then you get through it and you see, oh wow, this, and then you get into this camp and these meetings, the off season, our team meetings, all that, everything is just the urgency, the standard, just the energy, the fun. I mean, we're still having a great time, like a team, but it's hard. They've made this. The off season was one of the hardest off seasons I've ever been a part of. Physically, mentally, I was drained. I put on a few pounds. I got my sleep back, but it was mentally and physically tough. But now you see that urgency taking place. Our practices are fast, are urgent. There's a physicality to them. Already you can feel it on day one, and you feel that, and what that leads to is higher competition, hopefully produces higher results.
Hey Derek, Mickey was saying that he's kind of noticed like a chip on the shoulder for this team. I'm wondering if you've seen that, and then how have you maybe seen that as the last couple months?
Yeah, I would say that myself, starting with the leaders, passing on, we're a little pissed off, and a little edgy, a little testy, as my wife would probably say. But that's this time of year, it's going to be competitive. They want to beat us, and we want to beat them every single day. But we're doing that because when it comes to it, we want to beat the opponent, and we're going to do that together. So we feel like if we can have that chip, be a little edgy, be a little pissed off about it, that leads to more physicality mentally and physically. And so, yeah, I definitely feel that. And
does that chip just come from not making the playoffs last season, or where does that chip kind of come from?
I think it's not even just that. I think it's just not ending with the championship. That's what we all do this work for. You got guys like Cam, Hall of Famer. You got guys like Taysom, AK, DeMario, Tyron's 1-1, but you got guys that want to do it for New Orleans. You got guys that want to do it here, and we haven't done that yet. DA said, whatever you've done, he spoke to the room. He's like, whatever you've done, clearly for our team, it hasn't been enough. So every man looked at themselves like, you got to be mentally and physically exhausted every day. What else can we do? How many more things can you throw? How many can you run? What else can you watch? What else can you study to make sure that when we hit that field this year, it's a different outcome?
Going into this season for Chris is kind of the clear-cut number one in that room. There's really no question about it. Have you seen any different approach from him? How has he come into this year with kind of that mantle?
Yeah, I think his mentality is always great. He's always been very good communicator. Him and I. We've grown so much from the start of last year to now because, when Mike was here, they're getting his plays, and then is it Chris, and then it was that transition of Chris was starting to get the one, targets, all that kind of stuff, and it was different. But coming into this year, he knows every ball. He's like in his head, every ball's mine. Every play that's called, he should feel like I'm getting that thing, and so just the communication, the extra work we're putting in after practice, we're going to do it every day, just all of that stuff. Is just growth for both of us because it was kind of spread out last year, whereas now it's all right, dude, these are going to be your, 30 plays. Let's get really good at these. And so, I think his mentality from that aspect, I think his confidence, I guess, just knowing the situation is definitely more comfortable. Good, appreciate it.
Thanks, Derek.
right, shout out to Derek Carr, man. Shout out to our starting quarterback, Mr. Derek Carr, man. Dropping some game, man. I learned a lot in that segment. I don't know about you guys, but I learned a lot in that segment. Learned a lot of stuff about football, about, you know, this, that, and the third. Shout out to Derek Carr. Here's Cam, the man.
Cam, how does it feel to be in year 14? Like, when you look at our rosters,
it looks like a blessing. Feels like a blessing. Looking forward, it'll be a blessing to take the field every day with talented guys. You know, from offensive side, you got Alvin Kamara, you've got Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. You look at guys like, you know, the young ones coming up, Bud, A.T. Perry, Equinemius, St. Brown. I'm not even sure what year he's in. Was it 5, 6? You know, when you think about the talent on the offensive side of this, it seems to be unlimited. You talk about Foster, Jawan, Taysom Hill. There's so much talent on the offensive side. So we have to match intensity and set the tone. And I think we're able to do that each and every day with the talent that we have on defense. First and foremost, you probably say double D at linebacker, controlling the huddle. I always take myself out the equation because I think, you know, you got young guys like Carl Granderson, Brian Brzee, guys that I can't wait to get on the field with, corral with. We're already talking about, you know, what games we want to run, and this is day one, so it's going to be a lot of fun this year. And then if you talk about our secondary, and you can't not drop a name. You know, you talk about from Tyron to Adebo to Marshawn to Kool-Aid to Jordan Howden. I think we've got potential. Now, I say this every year, we got potential. It's time to live up to it.
Physically, how do you feel this whole offseason trying to get back from that surgery, from everything? How do you just feel?
Yeah, surgery sucks.
Yeah.
Being hurt for the last 7 games of last year sucks. And at the same time, it puts a lot of dip on your chip. All I could think about is, you know, the moment I'm healthy, what can I do? The moment whatever juice I can squeeze out of, let's do that. And I went to this offseason knowing gotta have a mental reset. You know, that's why you travel. That's why you take some time off. That's why you regather your thoughts. You spend time with your family. So when it comes to this part of the camp, when it comes to training camp, they're good. Time is put in. It's now time to focus on what I want, and I want a Super Bowl. My body feels great, by the way. I don't know if you. I'm feeling fast.
I've never heard that expression before. Dip on your chip? Is that the chip on your shoulder?
Chip on your shoulder. Like, you know, when you're a kid, your mom said you got too much dip on your chip, as in you need to calm your ass down. As a grown man, there's no calm. It's always full go.
How much? I mean, I see you on social media. I think you're aware that the analysis of your season last year is that you had a down year.
I needed somebody to tell me that. I don't care what other people think. Moral of the story is I was moving quite well the first 10 games. You injure yourself against Atlanta, and I still want to be on the field. So, you know, what was I limited to? First, second down, but I knew that coming off rip. If all I can do is go forward and I can't bend the corner, fine. If I can help the team out, get on first, second down, in my mind, it's easier to rush the passer than it is to stop the run. Everybody wants to rush the passer. Everybody can be 240 pounds or 275 pounds rushing the passer going 11 yards up the field. But can you stop a 340-pound man with the inside zone going on? Can you split a tight end and tackle? Can you move into a 4-eye? That's real grunt work. I'm a grunt.
Do you think you have more left in the tank than people?
That's a lot different than the clean Cam message we used to talk about a couple of years ago. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat. Remember Cam used to talk about staying clean? Y'all remember that? And that was just like a handful of years ago. We was talking about Cam, if you want to get those, because he talked about getting those sacks. And at the time, a lot of people, the defensive line coach wanted to use Cam on stunts. He didn't like to get those stunts in there. He liked going around on the edge. Like this different thing, this thought process now about Cam. Here we go.
We'll probably give you credit for it.
You'll see.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why talk about it when we can be about it?
What made you want to respond to the clip of the St. Brown
brothers? Sometimes you wake up and choose violence. You know? There's no.
Shout out to Lex. She used this phrase, choose violence.
No rhyme or reason of who I respond to. Sometimes I activate my KD burner account, except I don't have a burner account. I'm going straight action, and then I chuckle a little bit and move on. Real life reactions, because we're real people. At the end of the day, I'm like, how could you say we don't have dogs that don't know how to win? We have animals everywhere. But in my mind, they're also brothers, so they're just talking crap to themselves. That's fine. For me, I take out all of it, quite personally. When I look out on the field and I see a guy like Derek Carr, who's been in the league for, what is this, year 11 for him? 10?
12.
Boom. A guy who, has played at a high level, threw for, 4,000 yards last year. I mean, let's just not take away that he's not a guy. He could be the guy. He could turn it on. He can be what we need to get to where we want to go. We talk about our offensive linemen, how we've invested in them. First rounder, second rounder. Maybe whatever the last position is. Maybe third rounder. I'm not sure. But they're all drafted guys, all guys that we chose to be here. I think that does nothing but prove that we want to get a Super Bowl and we want it now. You pay a guy, you extend a guy like Demario Davis, you give a contract to a guy like Rashid Shaheed when you could have rode this year out. Saints should make the right moves and got guys believing in the whole organization because, not only because we're the Saints, but because we have the same mission. And if we ain't on a mission to win, I don't know what we're doing here. Don't waste my time. I don't have any time left.
Boy!
As long as I don't have much time left. I got some time.
Maybe a couple years. As long as you've known and worked with Dennis Allen, what? It's like a nervous check. I do the same thing when I cut people off in traffic.
My bad, sorry.
But no, as long as you work with Dennis, what stands out to you about his approach to this season that maybe you haven't seen before?
I don't know. He probably used the word swagger. I haven't used that word in a while. In my mind, it's the confidence that he's stepping with right now, because he wants it. And I love the fact that he fully believes that we are starting the foundation to have a playoff run, a Super Bowl run in New Orleans. He's walking every step thinking, like, what can we do to make this team a Super Bowl championship team? It's easy to buy in. And I felt that this OTA period, and I felt it day one today. After our 40 up downs, I looked up and I was like, foundation is laid. So like that starts you off right. You do 40 up downs, I don't care who you are, that hurts. And then we go through practice. And then Double D has a pick for first play on team. Love it. We're seeing our young guys. We're pushing them we're going to push them as hard as we can. Our offensive linemen, we're going to corral them to be the best offensive lineman that they can be in the short amount of time that we have before we have to go play an opponent. So what we want to do as a team aligns perfectly with what DA's laid out for us from jump.
How much are you looking forward to working?
Talk, boy!
On the other side? Can't wait. I mean, you already look at our line. PT is probably, Peyton Turner is probably in the best shape of his life right now. He's year 4. He's got more than chip. He's got everything to prove this year. You look at a guy like Carl Granderson, had a success last year, can easily be a double-digit sack guy in my mind. You bring in Chase Young, where he's talented, he's explosive. Whatever, he's healing right now. We saw him a little bit today. I think whatever their plan is, the more we see him, the better it's going to be. And we talk about just finish it out with Brian Mazzee, Colin Sanders, Nathan Shepard, and we drafted our young boy Christian. I'm not going to put his last name out there because I don't know if I know it. Boyd? Wow. But I just think as we're growing right now, this is the time to grow. This is the time to figure out what we're good at. This is the time to figure out what games you want to run, how we can affect the quarterback, how else can we implement a guy like Chase Young into our defense because we know he's talented and explosive.
Cam, I saw you at one point talking to Trevor Penning, sort of giving him some tips. Obviously, I couldn't hear what you were saying, but what kind of things are you trying to get across to him? And
I'm trying to be kind to offensive linemen. I'm trying to be better towards offensive linemen. As we know, I have a disdain for them, but some of them are really good friends, which is very much a conflict of interest. But with Trevor Penning, I mean, this is year 3 for him. It's time to cut. I don't know what anybody else is seeing on the outside in, but right now, in between those lines, whatever it takes to win a Super Bowl. So if I can talk to him, hey, calm down, don't worry about it, throw hands, anchor, whatever it is, let's get him right now. Because I don't want to go ahead and get to season and be like, oh, well, we should have. I don't have time for should have. I have it right now.
Is there some message?
Talk, boy! Talk, boy!
That's what I'm talking about. Come on with it, Cam. Brother Prom, someone eyes and body moving constantly. All right, appreciate it, brother. Thank you for that, Brother Prom. Good to see you, sir. Much love. Good to see. What's up, Eddie the Don? How you doing, sir? Just giving a quick couple of shout outs to the fam before we go back to Cam the man himself. KD says, y'all remember Cam mic'd up when Carr threw away the game? Yeah, he not fooling me. All right, Dark Side. What's popping, Dark Side? He says you're going to be wearing a Carr jersey this season. I want Carr. He says, yeah, they got plenty of them. Hey, man, listen. I want Derek. Man, listen, we kid Derek Carr, man. But Derek Carr is the quarterback, man. We want Derek Carr to be better. We want him to be able to, because last year he was banged up. This year he says he's ready to go. The Saints, like I said, the early on, especially under the tough, grueling, and should I say grueling? The early tests in the season. We start with Carolina, then you got the Cowboys game in Dallas, you got Philly in there, you got Atlanta in there, you got Kansas City in there, you got Tampa Bay, I want to say, in there, then you got Sean Payton on a short week with Denver. So early on, the Saints going to have to bring it, man, and they're going to have to rely on that running attack. We got to utilize the running attack with Carr in connection with that. I think that's when you've seen a lot of success happen last year when the Saints got into their play action bag. Carr looked a lot more comfortable because the offense wasn't totally upon his shoulders. We need the more of the running attack to do that. So hopefully the Saints can get that going. John Benton, who's the offensive line coach, comes over from the Niners. We need him to get it going, fam. Straight up. All right. Big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to the fam. Big ups to everybody. M-Dot says, here we go with the They say, hey, bro, they seen a lot of Derek Carr, more Carr than I seen one season of Derek Carr. And to me, fam, listen, it's a lot of word salad in there, man. But Derek Carr is not a bad dude. We just need to know how to utilize it. I think him in connection with in complementary role with the running attack, like the primary usage, get the running game going, and Carr off the back of the running attack. That's what happened late last year, which kind of gave us some pizzazz last year toward the back end. So just like with most people, you just got to know how to use them, man. All right. M-Dot said, I'm kid cute. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Oh, what's up, Lori? Shout out to Lori. Good to see the kings and the queens in the building. Shout out to my girl, Lori. Good to see you. Been a while. Here go Cam, y'all.
That you're like trying to get to him? Like
I have right now. This is all that I have. I'm squeezing the juice. I'm giving all that I can every day, every play, because again, in football, you never know when it could be over. You got a guy like Tano Passignon who was giving it all in OTAs. He may not touch the field this year. There's a 100% chance that you get hurt in football. You just don't know how bad it's going to be. Nobody comes out clean unscathed. Let's hear backup quarterback. And you live that good life for 12, 13 years or something like that and get out playing 60 snaps. I don't know, Chase Daniels. But, there's times, there's a reason why you love to be in this league and value each and every play. So a day like today where you can talk to them, we're just no pads, let's get through now. Let's become the best we can be right now.
You've referenced this a bunch of times, and you put it right there, but you feel like you got to make the most out of this time you have left. It doesn't feel different now than it has in the past.
No, I've felt this way since the playoff game in Minnesota. Every one of these plays, you're like, oh, we'll get there again. And sure you do, but if not, that's not the point. Each and every chance that you have to take the field is even that much more important because you don't know if you're going to get back. You don't know if you can reach that level of success. You don't know if you can get to a playoff game, NFC Championship game. God has blessed me with a long career. God's blessed my family with going into 27 years of Jordan men football in the NFL between two teams. And we don't have is a Super Bowl. A hell of a legacy. Pop's got 6 Pro Bowls. I'm sitting at 8 Pro Bowls. They're all pros in there. There's all the accolades you want in there. Leading sacker, leading receiver for the team, leading whatever it is. But you know what there's not? Super Bowl. Job not done yet.
Cam, it seems like from your perspective, a lot of what this team is, like the time is now. When did that really become a heightened mindset?
The moment you realize the NFL is a dream for you when you're 12 or 13. Nobody wakes up one morning like, oh, I want to make a team and just be good. Nobody. Have you? You woke up one day and was like, hey, I just want to be good at my job. Yeah, everybody wakes up and says, damn, I want to be the best. And what symbolizes being the best? A Super Bowl. You can have all the accolades in the world. If you don't win one, guess what some guy who was a guy on the team gets, and you don't? Super Bowl. And what do they label him before they label you? Super Bowl champion. It's the last accolade. I want it.
You mentioned the Minnesota game. Was that
don't bring this back up. I'm in a happy mood.
Not talking about the game. Wow. That aspect of football, though, is that something, how truly hard it is to get back there? Is that something like veterans tried to tell you when you were a younger player, but you didn't really understand until you kind of...
No. If you had told me the San Francisco playoff game, my rookie year, like, oh man, it's hard to get back there because you go 13-3, 12-4 my rookie year. I was like, nah, we got Drew Brees, we're going to do this shit every year. You know, that's a young man's, this is easy. You know, you inherit Pat Mahomes, you go through 2 Super Bowls in 4 years of your first 4 years, I'm sure you think it's going to be easy. But when you don't see a playoff for 2 years, and then you go to the playoffs again, and you understand how each and every year is going to be different and more important. So 3-4 years in the league, you're like, every game means something. Hopefully it's not a cold game because cold games are pointless, but that. Love a good hot game. What? There's no such thing as a hot game. Miami in September sounds amazing to me. Tampa, September, amazing. If we didn't have a dome, come get some, you know? Like, I love the heat. Now, this whole Midwest cold is real football. You've seen my Twitter rants. So we're just going to leave it there because I piss a lot of Middle America off. So, which day? I don't know. Every day?
Because there is that sense of urgency. I mean, one of the things you kind of hear with like this defense in particular is like, all right, are they going to fall off because now they're older? Like, what gives you kind of the confidence that you guys...
Are they going to fall off because he had one good year? Are they going to fall off because he was a product of his defense or of his offense? There's always reasons that you can make up or excuses that you can build in. Sure. We're about the here and now. So if you're not on my team, if you're not on the field, if you're not seeing the work put in, do I care about your opinion? If you don't see the work that I'm putting in, if you don't see the sweat, the tears, the blood, the frustrations, the highs, the lows that this game gives, and you have to go earn every day, what are we talking about? You don't understand. You'll never understand what it's like to break fingers, break bones, tear ligaments, and still play the game. Break, whatever it is. But that's just it. That's what makes the game so great. Nobody cares about your excuses. All we care about is results. And this year's results, I will drive for. I will put my whole blood on the line for a Super Bowl. And it starts with each and every game. And once we get out of training camp, I don't have to talk about what I want. I'm going to go earn it. Cool? Swing.
All right. Shout out to Cam, man. How about Cam dropping the game, man? Listen, Cam knows the end is getting near. Cam is getting near. All right, here's our young wide receiver that just...
I mean, even just being here, what did you kind of just like make of watching Cam Jordan like that and just being here and all this?
Oh, for sure, that's hard to go after, and, just going in like that. But just learning and just trying to understand.
Dude looked like Kevin Hart a little bit, man.
Just learning, sitting there and getting able to listen to him.
How much did your UFL experience kind of... do you think it rewarded you with this opportunity, or what would you make of your UFL experience?
I would say for sure, just being able to compete out there every single week. I know that it was a different league, and it was kind of a new league, and no one knew what to expect. But at the same time, there was a lot of people trying to compete and get back to this level. So every week, that was the goal, just to put tape on film to get back to this level.
How did this kind of develop for you? When did you get in touch with the Saints in terms of this potentially being a signing with them?
Just after the season, after the UFL season, we were able to get contacted after 2 days after our championship that we won in Birmingham. So after 2 days of that, the Saints called me, asked me for a physical, and so I went to go get a physical, and then they signed me.
What attracted you to the New Orleans Saints in particular?
Just my agents, they were talking to me, and just saying that they were very interested, and I was very interested as well. Yes.
What drove you say you were very interested. What drove your interest for New Orleans? I mean, I'm gesturing as if we're in New Orleans now, but to the Saints.
No, for sure. Just the people and the coaching staff, all the things that come with it. I would say the receiver crew, everybody that's in the room. I would say I feel like I can, glue to them in a certain way. So I would say that was a great choice.
And what do you feel like you add to the wide receiver?
Just speed and just a deep threat. I know we have a lot of speed already, but just more speed, a deep threat. I'm a bigger body, and that's kind of it.
Do you consider yourself a little bit, everybody's got to be able to move around, I suppose, in the NFL, but do you consider yourself more of an X, a Z, a slot guy? Like, where do you see your game?
For sure, everywhere. I don't see myself, stuck in one position, but for right now, I would say just the X. Just that's where I'm most comfortable at. That's where I was in Birmingham, and so that's where I'm most comfortable at right now.
And the whole time you were in the UFL, were you thinking about something like this? Or, I mean, what's your perspective when you're in a league like that in terms of, doing right by your team, but also, focusing on your future?
No, understandably, the coaches, everybody that was in the building, we all knew the goal was to get back to the highest level of football. And so, every week our coach would just say, like, you know what you're working for, you know what you want to put on tape. So that's kind of that's what he echoed to the team every single day, and that's kind of our mindset and how we went out there every week to win.
You were teammates with Isaiah, right?
Isaiah, yes.
How was that kind of reunion then?
Oh, great. First day I saw him, I was so excited to see him. He didn't know until before he saw me, earlier that day, he saw the news that I got signed. So when he saw me in the meal room, he was all excited to see me. So that was a great reunion, being able to see him, talk to him. So that was great.
The big highlight that got shared about you the moment that you signed was that big catch and run. That was, the seal for the championship. Can you tell us a little bit about that play and kind of, what was going through your head?
Oh, no, for sure. I knew that, the guy that was in the slot, he was going to push off, and I was going to be able to come underneath for a slant. And so once I caught the slant and I saw green grass, I just hit the gas, and I knew nobody was going to catch me, honestly. I just saw green grass, and I just hit the gas, and nobody was going to catch me.
Do you consider yards after catch a big part of what you do?
100%. Trying to get as much yards after the catch as I can, just because I know that how hard it is, just being not trying to be a possession catcher. I'm trying to get into that end zone every single time I touch the ball.
All right, that was Kevin Austin Jr. The Saints just picked that young brother up, man. And listen, I don't know if you ever seen footage on this brother, but he can play, man. He's 6'2", I want to say, about 200 pounds. He has good speed. And he could be a solid pickup for the Saints. I know he's a guy that kind of got to figure the game out. But man, let me tell you something, man. This guy could be a good maybe a good player to keep in terms of the practice squad or whatnot. And we'll see what he got. Like I said, man, not a bad pickup by the Black Gold. Not a big name, but the young man got some skill. All right, so big ups to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. He kind of, in his face, he kind of reminded me of Kevin Hart. I was like, man, this guy reminds me of somebody, man. And it was like, look a little bit like Kevin Hart in the face, man. Might be his relative or something. I don't know. All right, so big ups to the fam, man. We went through all of the interviews, man. That was pretty fun listening to everybody. Alvin Kamara, you heard Cam dropping a little game there. But, man, a lot of what Kamara said, man, you can kind of take that and kind of break it down, man, and go over it because, my goodness, Alvin Kamara gave you everything. He told you everything. He gave you everything except for a price. And you could basically use the context clues to kind of figure out the price range of what he's looking at. He gave you almost everything. So it's really, he makes it, from based on what I'm hearing from him, it's like it's really in the Saints' court, but the Saints don't see him price-wise as what he's saying, and he's not. And if Mickey Loomis is basing it off the last couple of years, and he's making an offer based on the last couple of years when the Saints, it was on his own ineptitude to put pressure on Dennis Allen over these last couple of years to do something with that offense, That's what it's basing it. I promise you, that's what it is. That's what that's why Mickey Loomis just needs not to be the general manager no more. Alvin Kamara, and even if people are saying he's 30 years old, context means something. You have to be able to understand that the Saints have not used and abused Alvin Kamara. He's not a beat up ass running back. He's not. And he was kind of alluding to, he was saying that his bones don't hurt, all that. And then he was smart enough to even mention it, because I like I said, I didn't hear the interview until just now, just to kind of react, to make the reaction fresher. What was interesting is I was like, man, the Saints' bullshit offense over the last couple of years cost a lot of their players money, especially Alvin Kamara looking for it, off of just under 700 yards rushing last year. Under 700 yards rushing with 4 or 5 touchdowns. And they're basing it pretty much on, it's like, nah, man, I'm better than that. Am I not in this season going to be your number one rusher? All-time running back? Doesn't that mean anything? Yeah, it does. He's not beat up like that. And then you put everything, like Mickey Loomis really needs to kind of get a deal with Alvin Kamara, because like I said, he's still he's your best offensive player. I mean, there is no replacement for, if you decide like to go on past the year, like he's going to play this year. And I'm telling you, he's going to play and he's going to have a stellar year. I just think the Saints, it would make a lot of sense for them, because it's not like you got his replacement on the team, like ready to shine. Like we got this guy. We feel very good about this guy. No, you don't have that guy. You need Alvin Kamara if you looking to break the 3-game playoff limbo that you've been under. You need Alvin Kamara's production. You need his skill on that team to help out Derek Carr and the rest of those guys. I mean, they're afraid of Alvin. I mean, Alvin Kamara, man, defenses are afraid of Alvin Kamara. You can even put him out there. You can decoy him. It is the Saints' ineptitude to utilize him properly over the last couple of years is the reason why his stats wasn't exploding. I know he had the 3 games, so he was out on Vegas and all that. But Alvin Kamara impacts the game in so many ways. He really does. So, and he made the comment, like the comment of the night that I heard him say, he said a lot of stuff, was that I guess, feelings was, he said, and I'm paraphrasing it, not verbatim, but paraphrasing, the feelings was that, I guess I didn't do what they wanted me to do. Y'all remember that? And I said, what? Well, what the hell did they want him to do? At first, I just thought he was just talking generally, like he was just throwing at, just saying stuff at first. And then I went and played it back, and I was like, what did the Saints want him to do? And then later on in the interview, or in the presser, he starts talking about the ineptitudes and the failings of the Saints team last year. He mentioned non-accountability. He mentioned them not doing, players and coaches not doing what they usually would do to keep, he mentioned a line that they were supposed to be at always, constantly. He said that, that wasn't there. And one of the family members, shout out to you, said, yeah, you know what? It might have been that they wanted him to apologize for comments that he made. I don't know what it is, but that makes sense. That comment makes sense. So shout out to you for throwing that comment out there, because Kamara sure did go into some of the stuff about last year, about how he was being vocal. Could that possibly, and I said Peyton, Freudian slip, is Slick Mickey Master Loomis, is he petty enough to hold that over Alvin Kamara's head? We know Dennis Allen is petty. We know Dennis Allen is emotionally driven. We know that. But is Slick Mickey Master? Is Slick Mickey Master? Is Slick Mickey petty enough to hold that over Alvin Kamara's head? Is he? And then, like, exactly, Wyo, Miller got a hamstring issue. That's probably why Dennis Allen was so pissed, because I was like, why is Dennis Allen so pissed about a hamstring? Everybody get hamstrings every now and again. Why is he so pissed? Why you so pissed about that? Well, you ain't gonna make the team on the, what he said, on the hurt tape, whatever he said. It didn't make, I don't care. But why you so upset about Kendra Miller hurting his hamstring? Why does that mean so much? See, because it just doesn't make any sense. Because Alvin Kamara, even though he's getting to be 30 years old, he's not an abused running back like what Christian McCaffrey was with Carolina, to the point where Carolina's like, obviously we're not going to get any more out of this guy, so let's just ship him on and see if we can get some picks so we can build again. Because Christian McCaffrey kept getting hurt over there, but he goes to Carolina, rehabs, steps up, shows out, right? They won that gamble. They won that trade. But Alvin Kamara is not that guy. Alvin Kamara is still very youthful insofar as his abilities. The Saints have not beat him to death here. And even with how the team is currently constructed, he's operating in a running back committee approach. So you have Jamal Williams as his complement back. You have Kendra Miller when he gets healthy to operate too, and you got Taysom Hill you can throw in there. They also could circle or throw Rashid Shaheed in the mix for him to do certain plays too. So it's not like Alvin Kamara is like, oh, this, that, and the third. He works well in where he is. But if this offense is what I'm thinking it is, this offense is what we want it to be, or a part of what we see the 49ers offense is, then you're going to need Alvin Kamara. You're going to need him. But it's up to the offensive imagination of the offensive coordinator to be able to employ and put Kamara in situations where he could be successful. And we have that guy in Clint Kubiak. So we're going to see how it all plays, man. But I don't understand the rationale for why Mickey Loomis all of a sudden want to be really conservative about paying his star players. Alvin Kamara is not just some second or third string running back. He's your best offensive player, and you don't have a replacement for him. I don't understand. What's the thing about Mickey? What's the thing about? Number one, Alvin Kamara is not looking to break the bank. He wants to get paid. And the Saints have been paying Alvin Kamara, so it ain't nothing new. If he wants a little bit more money, right up under what Christian McCaffrey is for 2 years. I'm hearing word on the street it's 2-year extension on top of what he got to keep him there. But you still can get value out of him because you don't have a replacement for him. Who you got? You don't have a replacement for Alvin Kamara, and he's your best offensive player. So what are we doing here? Go ahead and pay him, Loomis. Back the damn Loomis truck up, the money truck up to Alvin Kamara's place, and do like you did, Derek Carr. Give him a blank check, let him write it. Shit, we gonna pay Derek Carr, but don't pay Alvin Kamara, and Kamara's gonna be the Saints' leading rusher this season. He's gonna all time. He's gonna take down Mark Ingram's record this year. So you got all-time greats in Alvin Kamara, who's, when he leaves the Saints, he's going to be the best running back the Saints ever have, statistically speaking. We know Ingram's that right now. He's about to replace Ingram. He can either, and then go beyond that to a degree, because he's not just, and like I said, when you talk about running backs, there's an exception to the rule. And Kamara, McCaffrey, those guys are exception. I call them exception backs, because they're not the same as other running backs in the NFL. You only have, 4 or 5 running backs that can do what they do like that? Like, and be threats running and catching the ball. Like, he catches the ball like a wide receiver. And come on. It's all up to the imagination. And then if you talk of statistics, could he really be blamed for that? He did miss out on the 3 games, but also the Saints offense stunk a lot early on in the year and didn't really get cooking until the last 4 games of the season. They were funky off and on the entire year. And then the year prior to that, it's just what it is. So you just got to bet on it. He's your best offensive player. You don't have a replacement for him. And that's why Dennis Allen was pissed off about Kendra Miller. That's why he got on that press conference. He won't be able to make the team. Like, bro, the dude got a hamstring. Chill. What's going on here? Could that be tied to Alvin? I don't know, man. It's very weird because these are weird people. Not Alvin, but the slick Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen on that cloud. Boy, these some weird characters, I tell you what. All right, so anyway, a quick shout out to the fam, man. Big ups to you guys for being here. Yeah, hamstring issue, Big Boo. He got a hamstring issue there that he had. Dennis Allen was talking about it during the press conference. So I don't think it's nothing bad, but I think it'll slow him down a little bit. Kim says DA needs to be pissed at himself for apology. I think he long forgot that one. Yeah, they don't remember. It's the criticism. See, when you're a team and see, don't like them responses though, because they know that if you are a team that's losing, people gonna talk shit about you. Come on, man. Come on. Put one in the chat. We talking truth here. One in the chat. If you're a team that has an abundance of talent, you have an abundance of talent here. You got an abundance of talent here, and you're losing. You're not making the playoffs. You're making stupid decisions. You're apologizing to your rival coach. All this stuff is marked down and listed. You can't sit up here and pretend like none of this never happened before. You can't pretend like that. You can't sit up here and pretend like we're not going to remember. Maybe some people won't, but I know I'm going to remember. I know you guys are going to remember that Dennis Allen apologized for some bullshit he shouldn't apologize for, that he shouldn't have threw his team under the bus. And I know that was last year, but you can't forget none of that, man. We're not going to just be pulled, well, forget all that. No, because that's still here. The guy, if a guy did something like that to you, if you got a coworker that told your boss on you on some bullshit, whatever, I'm just making it up, told some bullshit on you, and then the next year, he come back to say, hey, over time, a year and a half, hey, man, come to my house. I'm having a barbecue. You're not going to want to hang out with that guy because you're going to remember what he did. I'm like, I can't trust this mother. I don't trust this mother. I ain't going to be around this dude, right? Come on now. Come on, tell me, come on. You got people, I know y'all people out there kind of loaned your kinfolk money, right? And they never paid it back. And then, they pretend like you never gave them no money at all. I know you ain't going to loan them no money. Some people won't even talk to their ass about it. Man, I loaned you that money, man. You ain't even remember. Well, damn, if I knew you was going to feel like that, I'd paid you back a year ago. But it's just weird because sometimes you got to remember, some people don't have the same common sense most people do. Sometimes you got to check them. You got to tell them something. But to sit up here and pretend like everybody, the majority of the NFL, the people that's making rankings and that's talking about NFL and have the Saints placed or polling the Saints in terms of where are they among this, what was in terms of where the quarterback ranks, where the running back run, wide receivers, where's the defense rank, where's the coach rank. It was articles showing Dennis Allen on the hot seat. It was articles saying Dennis Allen is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. I covered a lot of this stuff during the year. And it's very intriguing and interesting to see the approach because Dennis Allen, they asked Dennis Allen about this. And nothing that anybody says outside of the building means anything. They don't know what's going on inside of the building. That's not true. You let a reporter up in there, guess what? We gonna know what's inside of that building. And it's not airproof. It's not waterproof, Playboy. Let me tell you something. The inside of, how the hell you think Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter getting tips from different NFL teams to break it? How you think they get the money? Huh? Because Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport are millionaires. You don't think they pay for their tips? They pay those people, and they pay them good for tips that are really tips. That's how people are not just sending them information for money. They're information brokers. That's how that goes. They're you call them insiders. I call them information brokers. They broker information. They get it before anybody else do, and they break it to you. That's what Ian Rappaport do. That's what Adam Schefter does. That's what Adrian Wojnarowski do. All of them do it. They are information brokers. They're in the information brokering game. And they cannot exist unless you have people within the team in all aspects, to trainers, to guys cleaning up the building, mopping the floor, and overheard something. Hey, man, I got this hot tip for you. Man, come on, man. How you think TMZ gets it? It's information brokering, man. They get paid for it. So as long as people like money, you see what I'm saying? As long as people like money, guess what? We gonna know what's going on in your goddamn building. You see what I'm talking about? But man, it's just like that. But to deny that is really unrealistic, because you can't deny the fact that you stunk over the last 2 years. You're pitiful. That you went backwards. That you're supposed to be a playoff team. You can't deny that. That's not like something you can wish away by rubbing on a Arabian lamp or something. It don't work like that. You have to say, you know what, man, we have been crap. Those people are right. But now maybe you can take that information and all the things they're saying and use it to galvanize the team together and create a us versus them mindset. That's what a guy is supposed to do. Well, they don't think we're going to do shit. Let me show you this. Sean Payton did that all the time. Sean Payton used to put articles up on the screen in meetings showing what they thought, and that would galvanize the Saints team together to go out and play better. This guy here doesn't even use it. He sits up here and throws away a good opportunity to take that information, to take that and take it to the team and use it to push them together. You need something outside to compress you together to create a us against the world scenario. They're giving it to you, and he just throws it away. Unbelievable. It's weird. It's very weird. But you can't deny the fact that you stunk. that you couldn't even win a weak NFC South with rookie quarterbacks and inexperienced quarterbacks and got a $150 million man. It was totally, wasn't all on him. But a lot of it came out of the fact that the Saints were incompetent in their offensive moves. And it took them a while to be able to make some of these moves. Had they been faster in the movement, they could have saved the season last year, as opposed to keeping things the same when you were supposed to yank Pete Carmichael out of there and try Ronald Curry there. Pull Doug Marrone out of there and put Jari Evans in there. Let him see if he can make them play better at the offensive line. That's what coaches have the power to do. When another coach is not doing his job, the other guy underneath him can get an opportunity because the other guy is failing. So we don't let not one person hold the team back. If you playing bad, we're going to get you out of there and put this other guy in here. Because maybe he came to play today. See, he ain't dropping passes and missing blocks. This other guy, let me give him go on up in there. Hey, let's go ahead and sit down and think about it. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, coach. That's all right. Just go sit. See over there? Go sit at the end of that bench. I'm going to put this other guy in here right quick. Not one person is supposed to stop the progress of the team. Not one person, not even its highest paid player. If he's struggling, he got to come on up out of there. He got to get his ass up out of there because I'm not going to let you cost us a game. That's how it's supposed to be looked at. So the players got to respect it. His feelings will be hurt, but next time he'll bring his shit together and let them know, hey, man, listen, I got to step it up, man. The worst thing you can do to players that are starters is to take time away from them. And they can't bitch or complain about it because they didn't bring their A game. Next time, step your game up, brother. That's how you do it. It won't be, same with coaches. The coach is like, hey, man, you're right, man. We struggling. I'm going to get this other guy. Listen, I'm going to get this other man an opportunity to kind of see if we can kind of spark the offense. He ain't do that. He let it stay the same and made excuses. Even when we were pushing on him and he promised to change 3 times, then when it failed, they spun excuses. That's why the Saints have problems. That's why, and they refuse to listen to that. You can't beat us at this shit because you need us. You need our money. You need our energy. You can't throw them games and put that shit on by yourself. Nobody. If we're not supporting it, it ain't going nowhere. So stop pretending like whatever the people saying don't matter when it does. I told y'all that's all BS and lies, man. They're only saying it and talking like that because they are listening and they don't like what you're saying because they ain't people that believe in truth. They just want kiss ass and bull crap conversation to try to make them appease them like they doing something they right. You're not doing it right if you ain't winning. Even Cam know that. And like I said, the worst sin of it all is that they're wasting away these players like Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu. They're wasting away these older productive players' years. Not Cam, maybe not Cam because he was hurt, but they're wasting these guys' time away. And dare I say, you don't even have maybe with Cam, you got Carl Granderson there. He's probably the lone one, but there's no Tyrann Mathieu replacement right there. We like Jordan Howden, but he's not ready. And then you look at Demario Davis. Who's going to replace Demario Davis? Who do we have to replace Demario Davis, what he brings? We just see Pete Werner play a full season last year. So, I mean, like I said, man, you can't ignore none of that. You have to take that because it's facts. Use it to compress the team together if you're smart. That's all I'm saying. Because people are warranted. They're saying truthful shit that the Saints, are sorry in many aspects, and they are. So take that, use that to make you better. That's what it comes down to. All right, so big ups to the fam. All right, Dark says, I bet if Peyton was still the coach, Winston would have never done that. Thank you, bro. Big Bull says you got to pay to play. There you go. Bullet says, what's up, Bullet Family Travel Vlog says they don't want to pay their star player, but overpay DA, and I'm sure it's crazy work. Yeah, the contract that they have out there was one media source that put that out there. I think it was Skeeta or whatever, but that's the contract that they put out there was unverified. The Saints never released the contract of Dennis Allen. It's speculative. Like when you hear people write on it, they believe it's a 3 or 4 year deal. They believe it's priced between $3 to $6 million. There's no fact on that because the Saints never released the agreement. They chose not to release Dennis Allen's contract. And I've said that before, and I covered this years ago, is when they usually do that, it's the fact that they don't want you to know how much you're getting paid, obviously, but it's probably an amount you would disagree with because nobody would hold an average NFL contract. They wouldn't do that. That don't make any sense. If it's average, then it's nothing to talk about. But it's above average, then it's something to talk about. You got me? You hear me? So we're going to see. Tuck says, I got to go, fam. Thank you. Big shout out to you. I'm about to leave too, my friend. Appreciate you. All right, what's up, Rico? Says Willie Gay might. Yeah, I'm counting on Willie Gay, man, for DeMario Davis. Yeah, could be, bro. Could be. We'll see. All right. Yeah, the whole thing is we'll see. It's a weird dynamic here. I don't think it'll cause a dark cloud over the Saints training camp. I like how Alvin Kamara's handling it. You know, he's not letting it, you know, be sour. He's not operating as, you know, with a sour mentality. He's actually being very positive about it. So I like how he's handling. So I don't think it'll be a dark cloud over the team, but it's definitely a chip on the shoulder to step up. But I think it's a mistake. The Saints, Alvin Kamara is better than what he was the last couple of years. And you can factor a lot of that in the shitty offensive management by Pete Carmichael, led by Dennis Allen, not knowing how to use Alvin Kamara effectively. And that's costing them money, to be honest with you, fam. That's costing them a lot of money. Because it's hard to deny him if you sit up here with Alvin Kamara and he doubles them amounts from what 600-something yards he ran last year. If you double his amounts to make it like 1,100 to 1,200 yards, you can't really kind of create that. But they're like, well, you only rushed for 600 yards and 4 touchdowns last year. Now you want all this money? Oh, come on now. Well, I could have done better had your offensive coordinator been better, been smarter, been more of a alpha and did some shit better. Maybe if your head coach would have been more effective in being accountable and forcing him to do it. And maybe you've fixed your offensive line and had the guy, you know, that type of stuff. Because, you know, and he was like I said, Alvin Kamara was probably one of the more vocal guys. But like I said, I call them the fractured locker room players. Alvin was one of them. Cam talked, but not as real as Alvin, because Alvin talks the way he talks regularly, like what you heard today. That's just how he tells the truth. He don't need to blurt out anything. He's honest, genuine and honest. That's what he gave you. But Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis, they don't want you to ridicule them, even though they dead wrong, and they dead wrong as hell. Don't talk shit about me, and I gotta pay you. Let me tell you something. You're gonna be. Let me tell your ass something. You talk shit about me and expect me to pay you? Oh, you'll be waiting a doomsday, fella. I'll tell you one goddamn thing. I hope it's nothing like that. But anyway, let me get on about here, man. Listen, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in on this episode of the Coma, man. Much love to you guys. I'll pop up here tomorrow to talk at you. Listen, do me a service if you're listening on Instagram or listening to X. Please do a service. Hit the like button and the retweet button on X. Feel free to, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and join the show, man. We're going to pop back up here tomorrow. And just to go over the poll, man, because look, we about to end the poll there. Going to end the poll in the chat, man. And listen, there it is. And y'all see the poll in the chat. Do you think the Saints will, let me see that. Yeah, I can't spotlight it for whatever reason. But do you think the Saints will give running back Alvin Kamara his extension? We had well over 160 people voted on the poll. Thank you, guys. 86% of the pollers said yes. So I hope you guys are right that the Saints give him an extension, because it makes a lot of sense. He's the best player on your offense. You got an offense that's supposed to feature him like in Christian McCaffrey, and you'll be smart to get ahead of the curve. If it's a 2-year extension, what's the harm of foul? It's your best offensive player, and you don't have a replacement. So there you go. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. Listen, man, much love to the Who Dat Nation. Appreciate all of the support. Like I said, I can't say enough about you guys and all of the great support that you guys give. Please feel free to, like I said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the show on your social media feed to help us out. Also, please feel free to go to thewhodatdaily.com for all your latest news on the Saints, the Pelicans, boxing, Tigers, LSU. Check it out. Also in the link tree, our merch. We got all kind of merch and stuff for the season. We got a couple of merch shops and all that. And it also lets you know if you want to support the platform. It gives you the how, when, and all this kind of stuff. And it's all gravy. So with that being said, I'm out on that. Y'all have a good afternoon or rest of your night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Who Dat?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who dat. I'm a who dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a who dat. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to